It's not easy to be a fellow. Thank you very much. All the fellows in the house, you are highly appreciated. All the associates in the house, you are highly appreciated too. Can you stand up and wave your hand wherever you are as an associate? Please stand up and wave. Thank you very much, all the associates. All the probationers, you are highly appreciated too. Students in our midst, you are highly appreciated too. Thank you very much. Distinguished noble colleagues, among the dignitaries and eminent personalities that we are invited is here very timely, is no other person than the President of the Association of the Professional Bodies of Nigeria, APBN. Is no other person than Saviour Akin Oyegbola. Is the President of the APBN. That is the mother professional body in Nigeria. You are highly appreciated, sir. Thank you so much. Distinguished noble colleagues, without much ado, I have the honor and privilege to bring to the microphone the President and Chairman of National Council of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, Estate Surveyor and Valuer, Sir Chief Emmanuel Okas Wike, for his opening remark. You are welcome, sir. Can we put our hands together better than that for our President, please? Thank you very much.
The first Vice President, the second Vice President, other members of Management Committee here present, the Chairman of Board of Trustees, the Chairman of the Registration Board of Nigeria, past presidents now here present, fellows, associates, professionals, graduates, and student members of the institution. Good morning. First, I want to thank God Almighty for bringing all of us together for this 51st annual conference of our institution. I also want to thank God for our journey mercies from our different locations to Abuja. We give God the glory. Let me also use this opportunity to congratulate all of us for today. We are seeing something that is different from our annual conferences. Can we put our hands together for ourselves? Conferences provide opportunities for expansion, deepening of knowledge, and professional development. I urge every one of us to make good use of this great opportunity to gather and share with one another new things, new ideas, new techniques of practice, especially in this pandemic and post-pandemic regimes. The theme of this year's annual conference is Unlocking Real Estate Potentials for Economic Development. Real estate, which is on the way the economy is patterned. There are huge prospects for the industry to strive in Nigeria. The sector is heavily underdeveloped. There are still a lot of opportunities for development within the Nigerian real estate sector. But those opportunities can only be harnessed and realized by conscious efforts of professionals, actors, stakeholders, and government, and private sector commitment to realizing them. I am excited at the depth of knowledge, competencies, and exposure of our resource persons who have been invited to share ideas with us in this open gathering. You are very much appreciated. I enjoin all our members who have registered for this conference to attend the plenary and all other sections, physically or virtually, as the case may be. You will greatly be impacted and enriched. I am very, very optimistic that we are going to have a very exciting time together in learning, unlearning, and relearning many things at this conference. To this end, distinguished noble colleagues, on behalf of the National Council and the entire membership of the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, I welcome all of you to the 2021 annual conference of our great institution. You are welcome.
Thank you, sir. Are we still doing the inauguration of the women?
Yes, but call the APBN chairman to make his comment.
Okay, sir. Can we put our hands together for our president, please? Thank you so much, Mr. President. I have the honor and privilege to bring to the microphone the APBN president in our midst. He's a land surveyor by profession, but today is the one administering and managing all the professional bodies in Nigeria. I have the honor and privilege to bring to the microphone Surveyor Akin O. Oyegbola. You're welcome, sir. Can we put our hands together for him?
Thank you very much. The President, Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, with the permission of the audience, I will want to stand on the existing protocol on account of time. It gives me great pleasure to be in your midst, to felicitate with you on the occasion of your annual conference. I know that a few of our professional bodies were not able to have the conferences last year. Well, we thank God for the situation we have on ground now, and we could still try to catch up on the lost time. On behalf of the board and the Council of Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria, I have come to congratulate a board member, that's your president, on the occasion of this conference, and to commiserate, since I am talking to the entire membership of the institution now, and to commiserate with him on the demise of a past president of Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, who happened to be a past president of the Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria too. In fact, until his demise, he was our chairman of Board of Trustees. I'm speaking of Elder William Odudu, who passed on a couple of months ago. We miss him, and I know you do too. And I can assure you that the legacy he's left behind, especially in ABPN, is something we will remember for a long time to come. At times like this, one tries to seize the opportunity to tell the audience a bit about APBN. APBN, that's Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria, is the umbrella association for professional bodies of Nigeria. APBN has in its growing membership 30 of the foremost professional bodies in the country, and we're still counting. I'm happy to say that we didn't just have Elder Odudu as the past president of APBN. He had engendered that long-standing support that the APBN had enjoyed from the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers. And I can tell you, it is not just support in terms of, shall I say, in kind. It's not just in kind. I can say categorically that your president had been a very, very valuable vessel in the advocacy and the re-engineering of APBN. And I'm happy to hear that, to say that. And that's why we had our board meeting yesterday. I know he wouldn't have been able to put up appearance, but I thought I should just remain behind to at least show this solidarity with my board member. I want to appreciate you and for all that you've done, just like the publicity secretary of your institution said, and all that you will still do while in office. We appreciate you a lot. Having said that, I thank you very much for this opportunity. And once more, I congratulate you on this occasion and pray that the deliberations will be as fruitful as they will be rewarding. Thank you very much.
Please let us appreciate President of Presidents. Distinguished noble colleagues, Your Excellencies, for our information, the current Honorary National Public Secretary of APBN in Nigeria is an estate surveyor and valuer. At the election, our president, Sir Chief Emmanuel Okas Wike, did everything ethically and humanly possible to ensure that our own emerged at the election. Can we put our hands together to our president once again and appreciate our own, that is estate surveyor and valuer Rollins Eyimadu. That is the current Honorary National Public Secretary of APBN. Thank you very much. The next on our program is the inauguration of the Estate Surveyor and Valuers Women Wing. To do that is no other person than the President and Chairman of National Council, Estate Surveyor and Valuer, Sir Chief Emmanuel Okas Wike. You are welcome to the podium once again, sir. Can we appreciate our President once again? Thank you very much.
Noble colleagues, let me stand on the already established protocol. It's like we are not happy this morning when we are asked to clap. Some people don't clap. And I'm seeing that so many faces are not bright. Is there anything that is the problem? Are we not happy gathering together? If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, then your life will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, stand up. If you're happy and you know it, stand up. If you are happy and you know it, then your life will surely show it. If you are happy and you know it, stand up. If you are happy and you know it, stand up. If you are happy and you know it, stand up. If you are happy and you know it, then your life will surely show it. If you are happy and you know it, stand up. If you are happy and you know it, sit down. Thank you. See, now some people have laughed. That is what I want to achieve. Thank you. Please, let's be happy. We should be happy that we are alive to see today's ceremony. You know, one thing about an organization is the opportunity for the organization to grow and also get new innovation. I want to thank my predecessor, Estes Oviam Valua Roland Abonta, who actually started this move. Unfortunately, because of the lockdown last year, we couldn't do this. So I want to take his permission to continue from where he stopped, which we have already started. But this particular one, I want to take a special permission. Mr. IPP, sir, let me take your permission to continue. Thank you, sir. Noble colleagues, no, women are very important. When you want to marry, and it is time for traditional marriage in my own area, the person that comes to greet the audience is the woman, the mother to the bride or the mother to the groom. After that, when it is time for the daughter or the son, by the grace of God, they have a child. The person that goes to what we call omungo is the woman. When it is time to pay for school fees, it is time for the man to take responsibility. But when it is time to go for omungo, even if it is America, the woman will say it is the duty of the woman. When you give a woman something, she multiplies it and gives you more. If you give her a house, she multiplies it and gives you a home. If you give her groceries, she multiplies it and gives you food. If you give her sperm, we are all matured, she multiplies it and gives you a child. So you can see how important they are in our society. On that note, further to the proposal for the establishment of the Women and Youth Professional Wings, Council at its meeting of 24th April 2021 at Benin City approved the underlisted persons to be the protein officers of the Women's Wing from now till when the AGM will approve the official establishment of this profession. They are to run the affairs of the association pending the AGM recognition of the wing, which is expected to be made known on Saturday, and after which we expect them to conduct an election to fill in the positions. And I have the privilege and honor to invite the following persons. You know, I have problem in pronouncing names. So please, if I don't pronounce it correctly, pardon me. I would have asked the National Public Secretary to come and pronounce the name, but because I want to learn, I will just try. I have here Estes Oviam Valua Bridget Oraye. Is she here? I call her woman leader. She's going to lead the women till they conduct election. Then we have Estes Oviam Valua Jimoke Akure. Jimoke Akure. I also have Estes Oviam Valua Esther Echem. Estes Oviam Valua Esther Echem. I also have Estes Oviam Valua Mata Frank Ali. Estes Oviam Valua Mata Frank Ali. Estes Oviam Valua Adebisi Osumbo. Is she here? And finally, Estes Oviam Valua Amina Aliyu. We have 6 of them. that we are going to inaugurate this morning to see the affairs of the women's wing until when the AGM approves and they are supposed to conduct election. Madam, just walk majestically. I like the way women walk. Don't run. We'll wait for you. Let me ask, is there any of them that you think is not qualified to do this work? Can we go ahead and inaugurate them? If you believe, say yeah. The eye have it. So you have been inaugurated. Let me, on behalf of the National Council and the entire membership of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, and as the 24th president of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, hereby inaugurate you as the protein officers of the women's wing. I hereby inaugurate you to start your work. I will give just a few minutes for the leader, the woman leader. You know, in politics, for those of us who are in politics, APC have a woman leader, PDP have a woman leader. This one is nice woman leader. And anytime we want to talk about women, we will call her to mobilize women for us, but not for politics. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to stand on the existing protocol. On behalf of the female wing of Nigerian Estate Surveyors and Valuers, we want to appreciate Sir Roland Abonta that actually started the approval of this association. We are grateful, sir. We want to say thank you to our president, to the management committee, and to the council. We are grateful for this great opportunity you have given us. We also want to say thank you to the steering committee. Your efforts and your resilience have brought us this far. We want to assure our president and council that we are not a political platform. We are here to support and collaborate with council to move our institution forward. We are just like every other one, like every other faculty, but only that ours will concentrate on what to move our female surveyors forward. We pledge allegiance to our institution because we are bound by the constitution of our institution. May we also want to, I want to plead, and may I plead that every female surveyor should please rise as we appreciate our president, the management committee, and our council with a clap offering. We appreciate you. We thank you for this great opportunity you have given us. And like our president said, that when it's time for school fees, our fathers will be the ones to pay the school fees. I want to tell you that we appreciate you for the school fees you have been paying, and for those who still want to pay, may we meet our male colleagues and wish them belated Happy Father's Day. We appreciate the school fees you have been paying on our behalf, and God will continue to replenish your purse. And I want to remind our women that Friday is our day. We'll be having a brief meeting after our discourse with our speakers. We want to lay the foundation about the election. We need to agree on terms and modalities to move forward. And as we allay all the fears, we are not a political platform. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. You have made a vow before the membership of this profession that you are not a political group, and you shouldn't be. Thank you very much. You can take your seat. Please, can we put our hands together for our women? In the same vein, let me invite Estate Surveyor and Valuer Ayodele Odeleye as the protein chairman for the Young Estate Surveyors and Valuers. Estate Surveyor and Valuer Ayo Odeleye, Estate Surveyor and Valuer Hassan Madaki, Vice Chairman, Estate Surveyor and Valuer Ruth Bebe, Estate Surveyor and Valuer Hannah Babatunde, and Estate Surveyor and Valuer Carlo Ogui. These are for the young estate surveyors and valuers. Now, I want to thank the president of APBN because I think that they started this. By the time I became a member of the board, I found out that they have already started the young professionals. And all over the world, you find out that the young professionals are beginning to form their own wing and their own group. So I think what we are doing today, under the present council and under my leadership, we want to also inaugurate the Young Estate Surveyors and Valuers Wing. Are you the only person that is available? They're all working. Okay, I learned that most of them are helping the conference planning committee, but if I have another 2 persons, I will inaugurate you. Hassan Madaki, is he here? Estate Surveyor and Valuer Hassan Madaki, Estate Surveyor and Valuer Ruth Baby, Estate Surveyor and Valuer Hannah Babatunde, Estate Surveyor and Valuer Carlo Ogui. Ruth what? Nene. Okay, what you wrote here is baby. Okay. I was told that the correct name there is Ruth Nene. Please, let's make it faster so that we can commence our technical session. Noble colleagues, if you permit me, the chairman is here in order for us to save some time. Okay, Hassan is coming. You're supposed to be running, you're not a woman. Men are meant to suffer, women are meant to receive the pain. It's not me that said it, that is what Bob Marley said. Is there any other person? So, please, noble colleagues, permit me to use these persons as a point of contact for the remaining 3 persons. Do we agree to inaugurate them? Those who want us to inaugurate them, say yeah. Those who don't want, say nay. The ayes have it. On behalf of the National Council and the entire membership of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, I, Chief Sir Emmanuel Okas Wike, the 24th president of this noble institution, hereby inaugurate you as the protein officers until you do your election, which should not be more than 3 months. I hereby inaugurate you. Thank you very much. Any response?
The President of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, and I stand on the already established protocols. I want to say a big thank you to you, sir, for the opportunity given to us. And I thank the management and the council also. Thank you for helping give a voice to the youth in this profession. And we want to assure you, just like the leaders of the Women Forum said, that we won't use this platform for any political gains, and it will be for the growth and development of the institution. And I need to inform us that the NIESV Forum will be for members, for associates of 40 years and below. So, and on Friday, we'll be having a meeting with the president, and I would like to encourage every associate within that age bracket to join us. And at this moment, I would like also to call on all associates within that age bracket, 40 years and below, to just rise up and help me say a very big thank you to the president, the management, and the council of this institution. Please, can you just stand up? NIESV members. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, no, together we'll just say thank you, sirs, Amma. 1, 2, 3, go. Thank you, sirs, Ammas. God bless you.
Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Can we put our hands together again for our president? Thank you so much, Mr. President. We have in our midst another dignitary, one of those people invited for our program, is from the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit. Is the HOD of the real estate of that unit. I'm talking of Mr. Moses Azege. You are welcome to our midst. You are welcome to our midst, sir. You are appreciated. At the right time, you will be called on to give your goodwill message accordingly. Thank you very much. You are highly appreciated. Without wasting any of our time, please permit me to announce to us that there is a slight change in our program that informed the reason why I observed that some of us are actually looking at what page are we actually talking about. There was a swap in our program, and as a result of that, I will implore us to go to page 56. That is where we have the lead paper presenter for this conference. As we are entering into this first plenary session, I have the honor and privilege, with the permission of Mr. President, to bring to the microphone estate surveyor and valuer Okezie Obiefuna. Distinguished noble colleagues, the theme of this conference is unlocking real estate potentials for economic development. And to do justice to that is no other person than the person Obiefuna will read his citation. He will equally be shadowed with the responsibility of bringing him to the microphone. I have the honor and privilege to bring to the mic Estate Surveyor and Valuer Okezie Obiefuna, who will read the citation of the lead paper presenter. Can we put our hands together for him, please? Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. President, the members of Management Council, the past presidents, fellows, and noble colleagues. My name is Estate Surveyor and Valuer Okezie Obiefuna, and I'm here to read the citation of the lead presenter, Mr. Victor Adekunle Alonge. Victor Alonge holds a BSc degree in estate management from the great Obafemi Awolowo University, Ife. And he's also a graduate of University of Reading, UK, where he holds also an MSc in Property Assets Management from Heriot-Watt University, Edinburgh in Scotland. He started his professional, he has also a postgraduate diploma, because he's versed, in journalism from Times Journalism Institute, Lagos. He started his professional career at Alafia & Co. in Lagos in 1989, where he had his youth service, and subsequently was engaged in the company as an estate surveyor and valuer until he left in March 1998 for United Kingdom. He joined the professional team of Wilmot Chartered Surveyors in London, UK, in 1999 as a valuer surveyor, and distinguished himself in the company through his hard work, dedication, and professional and managerial competence, where he was rated in 2002, and he was elevated to the position of associate director in the company. He was subsequently promoted to the position of associate director in the company and an executive director in charge of professional and investment services of the firm in 2003, thus becoming the first black man to occupy a full board position of over 160-year-old company in estate service company. Victor Alonge voluntarily resigned from the company in 2006 and returned to Nigeria, where he has since been active participant and practitioner in the real estate market, specializing in property development, consultancy, estate professional work, and project management. He has advised individuals and corporate clients in the real estate transactions in the UK, Spain, Germany, and United States, as well as Nigeria. He's a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers. He's a fellow of the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors, London, an associate of Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, a registered estate surveyor and valuer, a fellow of the Institute of Directors, and the immediate past chairman of the Institute of Directors, ABUJA. He's a member of the prestigious Investment Property Forum, London, and he has attended several courses and conferences. Alonge was a member of the Nigerians Vision 2020 Committee, and he has served this institution in various capacities, including at the National Council, Chairman, Land Administration and Land Information System Faculty, member of Professional Service Practice Committee, member Professional Development Committee, and Membership Development Committee, as well as the chairman of several subcommittees. Victor Alonge is the present chairman of Professional Practice Committee and the second vice chairman of this, president of this institution. Alonge is a chartered valuation surveyor and the senior partner in Nelson Tope Alonge, a firm of estate surveyors and valuers, and the managing director and CEO of Willows Projects Limited, a multidisciplinary property development and project management company, as well as the chairman, Prominence Oil and Gas PLC. He was a non-executive director of Penham Pensions, now AXA Mansard Pensions Limited, a licensed pension fund administrator, an immediate past chairman, like I said before, of the Institute of Directors, ABUJA, and member of the Governing Council of IOD. He's also a sports enthusiast. He's a fan of Manchester United. He enjoys traveling, reading, and is a regular speaker and a resource person at professional seminars, workshops on real estate, and he's blessed with a wonderful family. Ladies and gentlemen and honorable colleagues, could you please give me this opportunity to usher in to this privileged podium, ESV Victor Alonge.
The president of our institution, our very humble, hardworking, inspirational estate surveyor and valuer, Sir Chief Ima Okas Wike, the first vice president, estate surveyor and valuer John Bull Amayabo, council, management committee members, council members, the chairman of the board of trustees and other members of the board of trustees, the chairman of the Estate Surveyors and Valuers Registration Board of Nigeria, eminent past presidents, fellows of our institution, associates, probationers, students, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's a very treasured honor to stand before you this morning to share my thoughts about the potentials of real estate in national, especially economic development. I would like to share one experience I had yesterday with you, which is actually germane to what we are doing. I was accosted after the president's press briefing yesterday by the journalist, asked a few questions, and at the end asked me that you've been holding several conferences and you've been advising government severally, but they've never listened to you. Why are you still motivated to continue? And I said, that is our role. We'll continue to talk. But I reserve my real answer for this morning. And the real answer is the fact that it is not true that government don't listen to us. Governments do. It depends on how we make our presentation. And I'm glad this morning to share with us a wonderful development for this profession. Some of us who are aware of the prudential guidelines released by Central Bank of Nigeria will realize that until now, that prudential guidelines has never recognized estate surveyors and valuers. Clearly. It recognizes valuation and directs banks how to actually go about valuation. But for the first time, the current prudential guidelines recognized not just valuation, but the Estate Surveyors and Valuers Registration Board of Nigeria. That is for the first time since. And why is this? And I want to give credit to the institution and the board. The singular reason for this, I want to tell you, is the Green Book. Started at the institution, produced by the board, and was personally, 6 copies of it were delivered to the central bank governor. And with the deputy governor actually attended to us because the governor was away with all his executives. And they asked questions, and they were surprised. And the registrar, if the registrar is there, he will bear me out, and said, this would change the thinking of CBN about your profession. And that actually happened. So it is not true that governments don't listen to us. So we should not be tired of actually talking. And what we are doing today, a lot of what will be said today has been said before. But we should not be tired. I think we need to repackage how we actually present. So that is a very good note, and I think we should continue. So government is listening. The Land Use Act that we've been saying they should remove from Constitution, they will listen. We just need to change our approach and be more constructive, as we are now. Thank you very much. The paper I'm going to present today is already in the conference papers. The details of it in terms of the materials and the resource. Because of the time constraints, I have prepared a PowerPoint presentation. So I will speak to the PowerPoint presentation and do some explanation because we haven't got the time. So please, if you have the paper, you can go with me because what I did is actually to summarize each of the pages, and then I will speak to it. Oh, okay. Is it on now? I don't think it's on. Should I put it on? Okay. Okay. Now, I have the introduction here. Real estate, as we all know, is a major indices with which national economic growth is actually measured in any free market economy. In the paper, I have stated the research studies that have documented the importance of real estate as a major driver of economic growth, and especially in developed economies that are reaping the benefits of the importance of real estate. United States, United Kingdom, Australia, and Southeast Asia economies, the Asian tigers. But the key role of real estate in driving economic growth is yet to be appreciated fully here in Nigeria, as in most other developing economies. I think what we have been fighting for, what we have been talking about, and I'm glad that my past president, Bode Adediji, is in this conference. We were both in Vision 2020. And a major point that we insisted was the proper classification of real estate in our national accounting system. Real estate is still seen as a cost element. It's not. And that is why the government just, allocates and then never bothered about the other side, which is the return. And the point is that because developing countries have refused to actually utilize the potential of real estate, then our economic growth has remained, at best, crawling. And in most cases, that we will see later, it's actually stagnating when you look at the economic growth and then population growth, because our population is growing faster than our economic growth. Real estate in Nigeria remains an important, very important sector of the economy. You see, in national accounting, that's when you do your GDP, you have formal and informal sector. Most of what is accounted for in our national accounting, national gross domestic product accounting, is formal. Huge informal activities are not accounted for. And majority of our real estate resources are outside the formal sector. They are informal. Because as we see, those assets have no title. And if you have no title, it's going to be impossible for it to be accounted for. And I've referred to data from our National Bureau of Statistics over the years. And for example, in 2019, the real estate sector contributed 2.78 trillion naira to the nation's income and grew by, marginally 2.8 in the first quarter of 2020, then negatively 13.4 in quarter 3, but improved to negative 9.2 and then 2.36 negative in the full year in 2019. So real estate, if you look at the pattern of this performance, you will notice that it's reflecting the difficulties in our economy. So real estate actually mirrors economic movement. And I've said that the relative positive performance of real estate within this period was actually a major reason why our government came out and said Nigeria was out of recession. But the marginal growth that we are seeing in real estate in Nigeria is still far, far, far below what we need to actually propel or stimulate our economy. And there are various reasons that can be adduced for this. It is not that we don't have the asset, we have land. And if you look at my definition of real estate at the beginning of the paper, if you look at the paper, it's actually the stock of buildings, land, whether agricultural land, mining, and so on. So it's not that we don't have these assets. It is because there are major impediments, major obstacles that we have refused to address. And I think, again, it is because of the mentality of our leaders in terms of classification and understanding how to classify real estate. Whether as a cost, as long as real estate is still seen as a cost element in national accounting, we will continue to have problems about realizing the potential. Well, one of the reasons why, because it's cost. So if it is cost, we are spending, so we determine how to do it. That is the attitude of government. And that is why we have this unnecessary, unnecessary government and political interference in real estate sector. Today we want to build houses, tomorrow no, we decide what to do, and so on, with complete disregard to market requirement, market dictates. It's not of their business because it is not seen as a revenue or as income element. Then the information asymmetry, lack of information. And we keep on saying it as a profession. We have data that are not reliable. We are still trying to come together to see how we can produce robust and credible data for real estate. Well, the country still suffers from acute housing shortage, where some people have put it, I think the National Bureau of Statistics has put it now at 22 million, but I think it's actually more than that. Then is the problem of seamless property, effective property rights regime. And this has created huge problem of what PricewaterhouseCoopers in their report aptly captured as debt capital. And what is debt capital? That is land resources that cannot be converted to economic capital and used to increase productivity and generate wealth in the economy. In the United Kingdom, you have houses. You have title to houses. You can actually use that title as security to release loan to apply to your business. That is stimulating economic development. But in Nigeria, you don't have title. You can't even go to bank. So unlocking real estate potential becomes crucial because the oil that we've been absolutely stuck to, oil is drying up. In fact, if it's not drying up, the technology in the world is working to make oil to be less relevant. And therefore, we will have to look elsewhere. People have talked about agriculture. Yes, but real estate is also an important area for us to look at. It requires investment, which is giving up something now for the prospect of benefits later. The benefit of real estate, its nature, being object of trade, the economic activity that goes on there. You have one real estate development. You can imagine the number of professionals that are involved right from the beginning. And then when it is going to be sold, people that will be involved, banks, insurance companies come in, architects, engineers, bankers, accountants, everybody comes in. So it's by its nature. And again, what really happened some years ago, and I want to specially recognize and give credit to UPDC for blazing that trail in Nigeria, which is the integration of capital and real estate market, which brought about securitization of real estate. And I think Mr. Stephen Mayaki, the pioneer UPDC MD, is here. He was the one that blazed that trail in this country and took UPDC to the stock market, where, you know, we actually saw that integration. And that is a model that permits me, in other climes, that real estate is being used to unlock economic benefit. That is what is giving them the leverage. I remember that in 2003 or 2004, the Security and Exchange Commission got a law to recognize securitization in this country. But up till today, that law has not been of any major benefit to our economy. Securitization is still not, we haven't still got it. And I keep telling people, it is because we estate surveyors and valuers have not taken up our role there, or government, or the people in charge are not recognizing the role of real estate surveyors and valuers, be it in the United Kingdom, in the US, Asian countries, or whatever, where securitization is working. The people driving it are real estate practitioners. So we need to understand that as long as we continue to sit back and just allow what goes on in government or whatever to take precedence, securitization will not take off. And if securitization does not take off, we will still be struggling, because direct investment in real estate is not a solution, to be honest with you, to unlocking economic development. Because the secondary market is where the potentials are to be unlocked. So the Nigerian real estate sector, like I said, is still very, very crude. Transactions are conducted in secrecy, and information is still seen as power that should not be, compromised. And real estate and economic development now, we are seeing the nature, the characteristics of real estate and economic development. Is it possible without real estate? My answer is probably no. Not even probably, it's no. Because the point actually is, there is no sector of the economy that does not need real estate. That is actually key. And the first thing I said there, which is also in the paper, is that economic development can be described as the process of achieving growth in the total productivity of an economy, with the primary aim of improving the standard of living and quality of life of the citizen. So there is a difference between economic growth and economic development. Now, in economic growth, you focus mainly on GDP performance. And I say GDP performance is actually focused, on formal sector. The informal is actually not really taken into account. But economic development takes everything together. So when you are looking at real estate development, you are considering it with economic growth. You are restricting, you are still limiting the capacity of real estate. Because the capacity of real estate is actually more on economic development, which takes into consideration both the formal and informal sector. In United Kingdom, in US, advanced countries, they may not bother about informal sector, because the economy is fully formalized. But here, until we get to that level, that is key to us. I've said, the importance of real estate in the economy just goes beyond contribution to the expansion of GDP. And that's what I've just said. Because you have to look at physical development, look at infrastructure development, look at quality of education, look at, human capital development, and so on and so forth. So that is what we are looking at. And in real estate, even the educational institutions that develop, human capital, they are housed. Without this building, we probably will not be sitting here to enjoy, to contribute our quota to what we are doing today. And that speaks the same to all the other sectors and every endeavor of human life. And I said, real estate impacts the level of production in the economy and the enrichment of living standards and advancement of technology. Real estate is key. Everything revolves around real estate. I think currently, real estate contributes about 7% to our GDP. If you look at it, it's not bad. And that is economic growth, looking at it. But if you look at the wider economic development, what is the role of real estate? Or what is the contribution of real estate? Of course, it has to be lower than that. Because when you put formal and informal sectors together, and then you look at the contribution, it's probably going to be around 3%, and which is unacceptable for our level of development. So, real estate and economic development, there is a nexus. For there to be economic development, which is not talking about GDP growth alone, but quality of life, education, healthcare, human capital development, and so on and so forth. There is. And I said, apart from providing the springboard for all human activities through the provision of shelter, real estate generates economic activities which have multiplier effect on the economy. There's a positive relationship between economic development because its employment generation capacity is significant. The more employment you are able to generate, the more development you will witness in that economy. Real estate generates revenue, we all know that, in form of taxes. And in terms of volume of trade conducted in any nation, real estate is huge. And that is why every day you will see, I'm sure when our guest from SCOMO comes forward to talk, that's why you see EFCC talking mainly property, that they have to look more into property, because property is significant in any economy. And we should not, begrudge EFCC for saying that. It is important, and therefore they have to play their role. Real estate investment also possesses portfolio stabilizing attributes. We all know that, where you have stocks and shares, money market investment, and so on. You can't have just monotonous portfolio. You've got to balance it. And because of the capacity of real estate, for fund managers and so on, over a period of time, there could be ups and downs, but over a period of time, it stabilizes and you have proper growth in that portfolio. So, like I said, the importance of real estate can never be underestimated. And I said, it is generally recognized to account for 15% of global GDP, and by far the biggest. So it is the biggest asset class in the world. And as you will see from the figures that I have given subsequently, it dwarfs securities, stocks, and shares. In comparison with equities, which have a global investment base of $45 trillion US, real estate has assets totaling $70 trillion. That is Bloomberg in 2019. I'm sure by now it's grown more than that. This suggests that real estate investment is important to global economies. Absolutely. Nigeria has emerged as the largest economy in Africa with a GDP of this. Oil revenue contributes this, but the informal economy accounts for 65% of Nigeria's GDP and is among the highest in the world. Pricewaterhouse has estimated that Nigeria holds, and this is mind-boggling, about 300 US billion or as much as 900 US billion dollars in debt capital. Capital that if they have title, that is real estate, that if they have title today, we could actually use to energize our economy. So if our governors, if the government listened to us and then simplified our land, titling system and avail property owners titles, this is asset that we can actually use as security to reinvigorate and re-energize our economy. This is debt capital. So the dynamics of the Nigerian real estate market continues to evolve, and I must confess to you, we are progressing. But the only thing is that it's at snail speed. There are some improved activities, pre-2015, but as you know, real estate is actually unstable. The problem with us is our poor institutional framework, and as I have said, we will have to address that. And that is a major issue that, as a profession, we must continue to hammer on and probably get ourselves together and propose a proper institutional framework which will continue to hammer on until the government actually listens to us. Market transparency, data is key, and that is an aspect that we will have to work on. These are problems that we have, we all know it. High transaction costs, titling, these are problems. And I can't even speak, more than what we have been saying before. But our strategy has to change so that we can get the appropriate response of government. So unlocking real estate potential, what I have done in this paper is to whet our appetite and to produce an overview. We've got eminent paper presenters that will speak on the different aspects of this theme, and I'm sure they will actually do justice to it. So the need to unlock potential, the potential of the market has become even more compelling because of our dwindling economic, financial situation. A functional real estate market with well-developed and maintained critical market indices is fundamental to realizing the potential. Market indices, accurate, timely, and accessible market indices that underpin real estate investment analysis and decisions must be available so that foreign investors, even local investors, will be able to see transparently. If you want to buy stocks and shares today, all you need to do is buy a newspaper, look at it there, call your broker up. I want this. You know the price. You know the quantity you want. You give it to me. It goes like that because the data is there. And we have to get to that level for real estate development. Thank you very much, Angela. This is absolutely important, and I think, like I said, if you go through the paper, you will see the way I have approached this. But our land administration system needs to be looked at properly because that is where the potential to unleash this fantastic opportunity resides. And as a profession, we need to pay critical attention to our colleagues, in the public sector, and also see how we can engage policymakers to make this difference. These are just how we can actually go about this. The capital market must be active. The securitization, opportunity must be latched on. And as a profession, we have not done enough to actually take our position in securitization. And the point actually is that we need to understand the importance of collaboration. We cannot do it alone. And the point is that we are entering a territory where the bankers, the accountants are seeing us as, strangers. But we need to constructively tell them, through our knowledge of what goes on in successful jurisdiction, that look, this is our territory. We need to work together. And then we probably provide the leadership from behind on how to access this. So, concluding remarks. Noble colleagues, our real estate industry remains a critical and strategic sector of the nation's economy. It is important, I have said, the potential that we have, according to PricewaterhouseCoopers, between 300 to 900 billion US dollars of debt capital that is available for us to be released now for development. We continue to experience incremental decline in income per capita. And why is that? Because we are growing faster than our GDP. So it means we are not developing. Because when you have population growing faster than GDP, you can't have development. You can be having GDP increases because it is based on year, but that does not translate to economic development. We require major structural and institutional reform to allow real estate to play its role. And finance is key. We need to look at that. And before we can even be talking about finance, we need to look at titling. When we are ready. I'm sure the finance industry is proactive. They are always willing. But let us do our homework, homekeeping now. Get the land registration system, land titling system in place. Infrastructure development, investment is key. And I want to say that it is absolutely important because, like I said, infrastructure development, which is part of the informal, part of economic development, perhaps not captured properly in GDP growth, is something we need to also look at. We need to also embrace fintech, estate surveyors and valuers. Technology is key. We need to learn. There's no age limit. It makes the practice to be efficient. It makes the industry to be efficient and be more productive. So, real estate remains an important element of this economy. As long as real estate is not given the right attention, the economy will continue to struggle. And I challenge you to show me an economy that has consistently relegated real estate contribution to the background, and that economy is developed today. The answer is no. Land, real estate constitute 15% of the world global economy. The next to it is about half of it, which is equities. And you cannot continue to look at it as costs. The Financial Reporting Council, IFRS, came up because the world financial system realized that it was wrong for organizations to be treating real estate as costs. It should now be actually treated as assets with the revenue generation, the revenue impact, the impact of performance, elevated. And that's why we have the International Financial Reporting Standards. And we also have the International Public Sector Accounting. And I want to leave you with this, to let you know how important real estate is. There are two global professions, and I keep telling people. The first is accounting. The second one is real estate. And who are those that actually championed real estate, recognition as a global profession? Accountants. Because they saw that their consistent relegation of real estate to costs in their system is causing financial instability. And that's why, if you look at all the financial crises we've had over the years, what were the root cause? Asset mispricing. Asset mispricing is another name for valuation. So, noble colleagues, real estate is key. And I want to leave you with this thought, that this country will become better when our policymakers recognize that real estate is actually a major resource, and it is the biggest single asset, not just for households, because for households, real estate constitutes about 50 to 75% of their assets, but also to the nation. And therefore, proper attention should be paid to how real estate is classified and is actually managed. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Distinguished noble colleagues, for our president to stand up to give standing ovation, I enjoy all of us to sincerely appreciate the lead paper presenter. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Distinguished noble colleagues, Your Excellencies, before we move on to the next stage, whilst the lead paper presenter was presenting, we have some eminent personalities and dignitaries invited, walked in. We have in our midst Honorable Paul I. Taribo. Is a member of Abia State House of Assembly. He represents Ukwa East constituency and is the chairman House Committee on Finance. Honorable Taribo, you are welcome to our midst. Please stand up for recognition, sir. Honorable Paul I. Taribo, you are welcome to our midst, sir. Seated next to him is Honorable Sir Aaron Uzodike. Is the chairman House Committee on Land Survey and Urban Development in the Abia State House of Assembly. Honorable, please stand up for recognition. You are welcome to our midst. You are highly appreciated. Cameraman, I expect you to take those action pictures. Thank you very much. Distinguished noble colleagues, Your Excellencies, I have the honor and privilege to bring to the podium the panelists and other paper presenters. We sincerely appreciate the President for allowing this conference, in the real sense of it, to be an international standard. What we want to witness now is actually the other two paper presenters, and there will be a panel of discussions. Noble colleagues, I have the honor of bringing here again the lead paper presenter himself, Estate Surveyor and Valuer Victor Adekunle Alonge. You are welcome, sir. Middlemost, yes. Distinguished noble colleagues, I have the honor and privilege to actually bring to the podium too Estate Surveyor and Valuer Ire Okoli. Usher, please do the needful. You are welcome, sir. Distinguished noble colleagues, I know our colleagues who are women will be looking at it as if, are we in the real sense of it, gender sensitive? I have the honor of bringing to the panel table Estate Surveyor and Valuer Bola Olawi. Estate Surveyor and Valuer Bola Olawi. Your attention is needed, please. To join them are the panelists. The first on the list is Estate Surveyor and Valuer Chudi Ubosi. You are welcome, sir. Estate Surveyor and Valuer Benga Ismail. You are welcome too. Estate Surveyor and Valuer Benga Ismail. Whilst we are waiting for him, I have the honor and privilege of introducing the moderators. First on the list is Estate Surveyor and Valuer Osato Osawai. Oga, please stand up for recognition. You are welcome, sir. Distinguished noble colleagues, I've just been informed that perhaps Estate Surveyor and Valuer Bola Olawi might have gone to attend to one or two other things. So in lieu of that, I have the privilege of bringing to the panel Estate Surveyor and Valuer Tope Ojo, a partner in Tope and Tunde. Estate Surveyor and Valuer Tope Ojo. You're welcome, sir. Distinguished noble colleagues, number 2 on the moderator list is Estate Surveyor and Valuer Raji Adewale. The third and not the least is Estate Surveyor and Valuer Adejumoke Akure. Estate Surveyor and Valuer Adejumoke Akure. You're welcome. Distinguished noble colleagues, to read the citation of the next paper presenter is Estate Surveyor and Valuer Shehu Janet. Raji will sort it out. Raji. Estate Surveyor and Valuer Shehu Janet. Oh, thank you, madam.
Mr. President, there is citation of Estate Surveyor and Valuer Chukwuemeka Romanus Ire Okoli. Chukwuemeka Ire Okoli graduated in estate management from University of Nigeria, Enugu campus in 1977. He obtained MSc degree in environmental management and political science, international relations from Enugu State University of Science and Technology and University of Nigeria, Nsukka in 1999 and 2002, respectively. In 2009, he obtained PhD in environmental management from Enugu State University of Science and Technology. He did his national youth service in Sokoto, presently Sokoto, Zamfara, and Kebbi states, between 1971 and 1978. He worked briefly with the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria as a resident surveyor in Borno and Gongola states between 1978 and 1981, and he resigned in December 1981. In 1982, he established the firm Chukwuemeka Okoli and Associates in Yola, Gongola State, presently Adamawa and Taraba states. An astute professional, Chukwuemeka Ire Okoli was elected an associate of the Nigeria Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers in 1980 and registered with the Estate Surveyors and Valuers Registration Board of Nigeria in 1982. He was transferred to Fellows category of the institution in 1992 through ABUJA branch sponsorship. Thus, he became the first fellow of the institution produced by the ABUJA branch. As a professional member of Environmental Management Association of Nigeria, he was transferred to Fellows category in 2002. He has trained, supervised, nurtured, and sponsored several graduate estate surveyors into associate membership of the institution. Also, he has built up and prepared several others for elevation to fellows categories of the institution. Chooks, as he is popularly called, has served the institution in various capacities at different times. These include unofficial member of council, 2006 to 2009, professional practice committee, 2004 to 2006, membership committee, 2004, 2010, 2012 to 2017, education committee, 2007 to 2011, research and development committee, 2006 to 2011, research and development committee, 2018 to 2020 as the chairman, our privileges committee, 2014 to 2017, and then 2020 to 2021. Chairman Board of Fellows, 2019 to 2021. He has presented papers at several institution annual conferences and at professional development seminars. He has attended several international and national seminars and workshops, and is always eager to learn, as he strongly believes that learning is a process, is a continuous process. A lover of sports, he played football and captained his school football team, a role he combined with school senior prophet office in 1972. Chukwuemeka Ire Okoli was the president of the University of Nigeria Alumni Association in Yola and in Abuja in 1986 to 1988 and 1995 to 2000 respectively. He has been a member of IBB International Golf Course and Country Club since 1994. He loves jazz music. Chukwuemeka Ire Okoli is married, and the marriage is blessed with children. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure of presenting Sir Chukwuemeka Ire Okoli.
The national president of the institution, first and second vice presidents, members of council, past presidents here, chairman of board of trustees, chairman of the decision board, chairman of board of fellows, and all fellows here, and of course members of board of fellows, associates, students, associates, students, invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The topic of my presentation is growing the national economy through the real estate sector. This topic was coined out of the theme of the conference, which is unlocking real estate potentials for economic development, for nations' development. This paper recognized 3 keywords, namely growing, economy, and real estate. Then what is real estate? Real estate comprises residential real estate, commercial real estate, industrial real estate, and land. It is a sector that is very fundamental to economic development of a nation. The sector exerts great positive influence on other sectors of the economy at various stages of its development. Thus, real estate, through multiple job creation, thereby, real estate development has immense impact directly on the immediate environment of its location through multiple job creation, thereby empowering the locals at the construction stage. It stimulates growth and development of subsidiary industries, releases funds for further developments and investments, attracts capital inflow into a nation's economy. Hence, its immense contribution to a nation's gross domestic product is immeasurable. Thus, investment in real estate has a multiplier effect, and it serves as a springboard for development of other sectors of any economy. Nigeria is endowed with tremendous real estate potentials, which have the capacity to launch the economy into world development economy classification if well explored and harnessed. This paper tries to find appropriate definition for some keywords used here to place them in true perspective. It further examines possible areas of investment in real estate. It identifies some sources of real estate financing, then looks at contributions of real estate sector to Nigeria's gross domestic product. It goes further to examine factors militating against the progress in the sector. Thereafter, profiles measures necessary to unlock the economic potentials of real estate. It tries also to do some definitions. When we're talking about real estate, at times it's misunderstood, at times it's misapplied or misinformed. So we try to find some definitions to the real estate. You see, there are 2 terms that are related: real estate, real property, and land. So at times they are used interchangeably, at times they are misapplied. So we found that there's need to give clear definitions to these terms. So we're now real estate. Business dictionary defines real estate as land and anything fixed, immovable, or permanently attached to it, such as appurtenances, buildings, fences, fixtures, improvements, roads, shrubs, and trees, but not growing crops, sewers, structures, utility services, and wall. Title to real estate normally includes title to air rights, mineral rights, software rights, which can be bought, leased, sold, or transferred together or separately. While real property, also called premises, though not commonly used, is a broader term than real estate. The legal definition of real property is land and anything growing on or affixed to it, or built upon it, buildings, other improvements attached to the land. It further encompasses the rights of use and enjoyment of certain land, as well as any of its improvements. Thus, real property includes real estate and abundance of rice. This bundle of rice, please. The bundle of rights is a broad term used to organize property rights as they relate to real estate. It consists of right of possession, control, enjoyment, execution, and disposition. In these rights are, possession is the right to occupy, control is the right to determine interest for others, enjoyment is the right to use the property without outside interference, exclusion is the right to legally refuse other interests in the land, while disposition is the right to determine how the property will be sold or transferred. The bundle of rights are included in the ownership of property. There are, however, some complex legal exceptions of these rights, which are outside the scope of this work. Any physical property permanently attached to real property, features and appurtenances are part of real property. The main distinction, this is very important, the main distinction between real estate and real property lies on the fact that while real estate consists of the physical objects, real property encompasses both the physical objects and common law rights. This distinction is very, very important in world real estate transactions from a legal perspective, where most of the general public have an erroneous impression of the meaning of real estate and real property. The two terms are legally not the same and should be well clarified in operative transactions. You see, we often say real estate or real property. The two terms are not definitely the same. The real property has a broader meaning than real estate. So at international level, when going to international market, you should specify whether you're talking about real estate or real property. I'll give you the differences. The other one also has a bundle of rights, but the other one is just talking about physical property. Then I'll try to define land. This may be a difference from your common or very, very, very frequent understanding of land. Conley's Dictionary of Law defines land consists of the physical surface of land, everything growing on underneath that surface, anything permanently affixed to the surface, such as building, and the airspace above such land. It includes not only the soil or earth, but any water and pond. Land may be divisible both horizontally and vertically. Thus, ownership of the surface may be vested in one person, while the ownership of mines and minerals are vested in another person. It is perfectly possible to have flying freeholds where ownerships of different stories of the same building are vested in different persons. However, in England and Wales, land is defined legally, thus. Okay, it appears to have a limited. So let me leave the definitions here. They are there in the paper. Find time. It's important to understand the meaning and the difference between land, real estate, and real property. And then the import of these definitions from the foregoing definition, it could be deduced from legal definition of land that real estate and land appear to share semblance, but in real estate business, land, real estate, and real property connote slightly different meanings. While real estate includes land, real property encompasses land and real estate. I went further to give possible areas of investment in real estate, which include commercial, residential, industrial, and of course land. There are some factors that affect these investments. These include locational factor, planning regulations, target users, security and safety, demand and supply factors, and of course management. The property should be well managed. Well, the proposed investment should embody a well-articulated management plan for the development. Professional services of a qualified estate surveyors and valuers should be retained from inception to completion in order to optimize proceeds from the development and ensure sustainability of the investment. I also treated sources of real estate finance. These sources can be classified into two broad categories: traditional sources and traditional sources and which we are calling formal sources, and then formal sources. And then formal sources. Under formal sources, we have the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, pension funds, commercial banks, funds from commercial banks, insurance companies, development finance institutions, mortgage brokers, capital markets, real estate investment trust funds. Then try to look at the contributions of real estate sector to the nation's, to Nigeria's gross domestic product. It's unfortunate that the sector has not contributed much because it's not fully explored and developed. However, present statistics shows that in the recent study covering the period of 2017 and 2018, published by the Guardian newspapers, the sector still remains Nigeria's 50th biggest contributor to the nation's gross domestic product. Furthermore, a release by the National Bureau of Statistics shows that the real estate sector contributed 8.37% to the nation's GDP in the last quarter of 2013, 6.8% in the first quarter of 2014, respectively, showing a drop of 1.55% in the first quarter of 2014. The drop was attributed to the restrictions placed on foreign exchange, which affected the construction industry, which is heavily import-based. This dampened the interest of investors in the sector. The country's economic recession of 2016 and 2017 affected the real estate sector and its contribution to GDP. However, the sector showed a positive growth in 2017, where it contributed 6.34%. Okay, let me go straight to the problems militating against the growth of real estate in the country. Very, 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 very important because we are trying to unlock the potential. These are the problems militating against the growth. I just mentioned them. They include land acquisition and transfers. Land acquisition and transfers. I must have to mention the Land Use Decree, the Land Use Act, especially the overriding powers of the governor of a state to issue certificates of occupancy, and also to issue consents for transfers and assignments. So this strongly work against land organization acquisition. Tortuous process of obtaining approval for development proposals, difficulty in assessing development finance, professional rascalism and the abuse of professional ethics. I'll talk on this, please. The real estate sector has a wide opening for all professionals in built environment. A project development process at appropriate stages requires the service of lawyers, estate surveyors and valuers, land surveyors, environmental managers, architects, engineers, planners, quantity surveyors, finance experts, among others. Each professional group has a common academic curriculum. Members undergo the same course of studies, and they belong to appropriate professional bodies. It is common and very disheartening in the real estate sector to see professionals wantonly encroach into other areas where they are at best quacks. The frequent cases of collapsed buildings can to a large extent be attributed to poor professionalism. This situation does not allow the sector to operate in its best. Of course, the issue of Omo Olile, that's mainly in Lagos area. I don't have time to talk on it. We have absence of dependable data on real estate stock. There's no data. Nobody knows what quantity of types of real estate in various locations at any point in time. Lack of infrastructure, multiple taxation on real estate development, over-dependent on imported materials. Let me give brief recommendation how this can be handled. Reducing the difficulty in land acquisition. That difficulty can never be reduced unless the Land Use Act is further addressed. It can never be reduced. The difficulty, there must be an amendment of Land Use Act, which is a part of the Constitution, making the approval process less cumbersome. Approval process should be made easier, preferably using e-approvals and given a time frame within which the development project must be approved. making finance easily accessible for real estate development and investment. Need to imbibe professionalism in real estate business. I will go through this again because it affects us and other professions. Real estate development investment process requires active professionalism to grow and sustain the growth. Built environment professionals should restrict their activities only to those areas they are academically trained and professionally qualified and registered to practice. This will make it easy to handle professional misconduct and breach of professional ethics. The Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria should be strengthened and empowered to handle the issues of indiscriminate professional adventurism, whereby members of professional body abandon their core areas of practice and brazenly stray into fields that are at best quacks. This situation must be checked in order to realize the untapped potential of real estate sector. The professionals have to play a very, very crucial role. Professionals should limit their practice to the areas they are trying to practice. It is very, very, very important. I'm happy the president of the Professional Body Association is here. Professionals should be restricted and confined to the areas they are trying to practice. It's very, very important. And of course, harnessing the great opportunities afforded by the nation's growing population. Nigeria has a wonderful population that, if we're harnessed, population of Nigeria is growing at such a rate that the real estate cannot satisfy the population. If this population advantage is harnessed, real estate will contribute greatly and immensely to gross domestic product of the country. However, infrastructural positions are imperative for real estate to thrive. Infrastructural development should be pursued vigorously to enable real estate developers move in and in no distant time, churn out great numbers of completed buildings to serve the needs of the populace. The more the population, the more the demand on real estate. Of course, another one need to establish national real estate data bank. The previous person has said that I need to have a data bank where you can always go to and find out what's available in the market, where you have to develop the attractions and the functions that affect those attractions. Of course, streamlining real estate taxation. And of course, need to develop local source of construction materials. So there is need to carry further research on developing materials instead of whatever stage or whatever item of material you need, they are imported. A slight change in foreign exchange affects tremendously development costs, and these are transferred to the end users. It's detailed development. Conclusion. I'm sorry, really, the presentation doesn't give me time to explain certain things, but let me now conclude. The real estate sector influences several other sectors in a nation's economy through a multiplier effect. Investment in the sector triggers development in several other sectors, thereby serving as a catalyst in economic development of a nation. Hence, its immense contribution to gross domestic product of the nation. Nigeria, with its burgeoning population, affords unlimited potentials for real estate market. But for the potentials to be realized, government should provide conducive investment environment through appropriate legislation, sound policies, directives, and massive infrastructural development that will encourage and facilitate investment in the sector. Given appropriate operating environment, the real estate sector potentials can be unlocked, and its contribution to the nation's economy, to the nation's growth products, tremendously improved. This is all I can take, please. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, sir. Distinguished noble colleagues, we can do better than that. It's not easy to present paper at an international conference like this. Thank you so much, sir. Without much ado, I have the honor and privilege to bring to the microphone Estate Surveyor and Valuer Mustapha Ewenla to read the citation of Estate Surveyor and Valuer Bola Olawi, the next paper presenter.
Good afternoon, distinguished noble colleagues. The 24th president of our great institution, ESV Sir Chief Emmanuel Okaswike, the first vice president, the second vice president, and all other protocols duly observed. I'd like to take this sincere apology that the profile of our next speaker was omitted from the program of the event. We take that apology quickly. So I take our citation. ESV Bola Olawi, ANIVS, RSV, LLB, was born on the 27th of May 1970 in Lagos to the royal family of Olupo dynasty by the late Alhaji Chief Karim Olawi and Alhaja Sinat Olawi Aju Lopin. She is the head of practice and principal consultant of Bola Olawi Consulting. She had a degree in law from the Adeleke University, Ede, Osun State. She had a postgraduate diploma in estate management and valuation at the Federal University of Technology, Akure, Ondo State. She had a higher national diploma in estate management from Kwara State Polytechnic, Ilorin, Kwara State. She's an associate member of the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, a registered member of Estate Surveyors and Valuers Registration Board, ex-Vabon, a member of International Real Estate Federation, FIHAPSI, a member of Africa Real Estate Society, AFRES, a registered professional with Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, FRCN, a registered auctioneering member of the Lagos State Ministry of Commerce and Industry and Cooperatives, an accredited mediator for Lagos State Multi-Door Court, LMDC. She has a work experience from Adefila Akinsomi Salako and Partners, where she had her industrial training, at National Youth Service Corps from the Lagos State Ministry of Housing, Alausa, Ikeja, a director at KBU Properties Limited, also a director at Cromwell PSI, Bola Olawi Consulting, Estate Surveyors and Valuers. She is also the secretary and treasurer of NIESV Plant and Machinery, Plant and Equipment Valuation Faculty at different times. She has served as a member of NIESV's Research and Development Committee for 2 terms. Bola Olawi constantly attends seminars, conferences, and continuing professional development programs locally and internationally to improve our professional knowledge and ability to deliver high-standard services to our clients. She is a core professional who believes in ethical practice, and she has acquired and she has relevant experience in waste management, climate change, and global warming, oil and gas, economics, acquisition, and compensation. Her hobbies are meeting people, reading, adventure, humanitarian service, and she's happily married with kids. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, please help me make welcome to the lectern this quintessential woman, ESV Bola Olawi. Can we please put our hands together for her, please?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. President, the first Vice President, the second Vice, our elders in the House, senior colleagues, and my noble colleagues, even the students, I salute you all. You are welcome to this 51st conference. Okay. It's a privilege for me to stand on this podium this morning to deliver my paper, which is titled I'm sorry, my name is Bola Olawi, as my citation has been read. My paper titled Harnessing Real Estate Investment Opportunities for Economic Growth and Development in Nigeria. I think this is uncooked. The paper has few sections. I'm going to start with the introduction. So once again, before I commence, I say welcome all. I welcome you all to this gathering of intellectuals. I pray we have a smooth deliberation. Now, going to my introduction, we all know what real estate is all about. So there we have the abstracts, we have the introduction, concepts of economic growth and development, real estate investment, Nigerian real estate market, economic growth and development, the nexus between real estate, economic growth and development, real estate market development, then you have case study of Dubai, Singapore, and Hong Kong here. And as real estate investment opportunities in Nigeria, problems affecting the exploitation of real estate investment opportunities, then we have our conclusion and recommendations. Now, excuse me. Okay. Now, real estate has continued to be a major subject of discussion in Nigeria to the interconnectivity of all human activity with real estate. In human relationship, it is a vehicle of power, and in the land context, a determinant of occupation, possession, and ownership of land. It has been estimated that real estate is the second or third largest contributor to overheads for most businesses. We all know that real estate is highly dependent on cash flow and a proper understanding of the variables influencing investment growth and opportunities that must be understood and controlled by the investors, since investment, let's say, is risky. We look at Ngomo in 2017, one of these papers. The Nigerian real estate market comprises of various property types, ranging from residential, commercial, industrial, educational, religious, agricultural, among other types. And Nigeria is in economic turbulence due to the inefficiency of the government to explore real estate sector, lack of human capacity to efficiently manage real estate opportunities, and over-dependence of government on oil, natural gas, etc. Now, let's look at the concept of economic growth and development. We should all note that in 2012, Allah in one of his books said, and quoted, that a process that generates an economic, social, quantitative, and particularly qualitative changes, which causes the economy to cumulatively and durably increase its real national product is real estate investment. And it's the process of increasing the size of national economics, the microeconomics indication, especially the GDP per capita, in an ascendant but not necessarily linear direction, with positive effects on the economic, social sector, while development shows us how growth impacts on the society by increasing the standard of life. Then when we go further, we say that the economic growth and development are a continuous process with stimulating effects on the economy. Both processes, as in economic growth and economic development, involve the allotment and selection of resources and increase of efficiency. The finality of growth and development is the improvement of the standard and quality of life. Then economic growth and development are causes and results of general trend, influencing the rhythm and ensuring passage from one level to the other. When we look at economic growth, day in, day out, everything is getting new every day. And the economy is becoming larger because due to the demand and supply of everything we have around us in the real estate industry. And we look at it now, the economic development and the economic growth is now like they were against one another. And how do we make sure that this gets to the balance? That's why we have to look at some of the problems and some of the likely solutions. We look at it just like we look at the disadvantage and advantage of all these things, the two together. So that's move forward to let us look at the real estate investment. We all know that even in our first level, 100 level in school those days, what they first of all used to teach us is why do we acquire, we invest in property. Why do we have interest in properties? We know each of us has different reasons of acquiring this or investing in real estate. So we're going to look at the real estate investments, check all those reasons where we have those reasons behind acquiring or investing in real estate. Now, investment in real estate is an economic activity that involves commodifying interest in landed property, as one would fix interest, securities or company stock and shares. And when we look at these three together, we see that the real estate tends to have more, has upper hand and has more interest, as it has more, you'll be able to get more of a good bargain when you invest in the real estate compared to the other, or maybe stock or shares. Also, it involves development of a but ripe sites, or development, conversion, or alteration of development sites. Then the characteristics of real estate, current outlay, commitment of cash or other economic resources. No one can dabble into real estate investment without money. So the cash, ability for you to have the cash to bring into it, is one of those things that requires for us to start investment in real estate. Then anticipation of returns of future benefits. Definitely when you are investing in any property, you will think of the benefits you're going to have, the gains you're going to have. Is it a short-term one, a long-term one, a middle-term one? All those things are what we put together to make sure we get the one that will give us the adequate and full benefits. Then another one is uncertainty about the benefits, since they have to do with future. I think at this point, we look at it as assets of us and valuers. When your clients come to you that needs to invest, we need to look at we have to weigh so many things there. Look at it as if you wanted to invest. What are you investing in? We want to have two commodities, maybe property or a property in Lokogoma, a duplex, and all these stuff. When you look at all those things, look at the one, which one is going to give you more profits and at which time. Is it going to be a short one? Is it going to be this one? Even the one you will need to buy without you having enough funds. Probably you contact the banks to do it for you. To be maybe you have a little collateral, and you have a little cash that you can use as your own equity at the point of purchase. And the most important is the future benefits. And that future benefit could be a short-term one that maybe in the next 1 to 3 years you'll be able to recoup and get your gain or whatever profit you have on it. So and on and so forth. Then difference in timing of outlay and future benefits does bring you uncertainty. No, just like I said just now, you get your clients approached you, and that's you want to have an investment. You have 2, 3 options. It is our responsibility as surveyors and valuers to let the clients know if this investment is better than this one, and this where we require our professionalism by doing maybe feasibility and viability appraisal. So to help us to get the best out of the best of the investment. Then the quality of an ideal investment. Security of capital in relation to ease of withdrawal. Transfer or withdrawal must be easy. This is just that you have a property, probably in Lokogoma, and you have one in Kuje, and you invest. You can even invest like 100 million in Kuje and invest 10 100 million or 50 million in Asokoro or any of these eyebrow areas. When you have an investment, no, the ease of you getting the proceeds or getting something good out of it, it's very important. And you look at it that when you want to dispose this investment, probably you have a better one to do. Then you have to dispose the one you had before. It must be very easy for you to dispose. That is why in getting all this, you have to have certain conditions, probably location of the place, the price, and all these things. But the most important is for you to, if you are getting a good and ideal investment, is for you to know that this one is right. And that is why we as professionals, we should be able to guide our clients rightly. Then the security of income in relation to purchasing power. No, when you have a property, I just said it now, one in Kuja and one in, which one tends to move faster in the market? That will be easy to exchange for cash in case you need to do something else or you need to have something or cash from what you have before. Then any good investment you are doing must enable you to get your cash back within the shortest period of time. Then there should be minimum inconvenience and expense management. As in, we professional colleagues here, we know when you have clients that put their properties in your trust, we should be able to manage it very well for them, that the person will know that truly he or she has given it to the right person to handle for him. Because when you have an investment and you have clients and tenants that are so difficult and things are getting tough for the person will be sleeping and they'll be calling the person, come, oh, they have done this and that. As professionals, we're able to guide them right and let them know that selection of tenants or whatever should be very easy. That will make the investment so easy for the person. And the person would want to invest again. And the person will even want to see our face as professionals in that aspect. The advantages of investing in real estate: increased cash flow, capital and income security, appreciation and growth, tax benefits, hedges against inflation, control, then diversification of value, yield enhancements, ability to influence performance, ease of understanding of real estate. Real estate is improvable. It's because of time I'm trying to just brush off the points so we can read later. Real estate can be financed and leveraged. Other advantages include high return on investment, low risk investment, long-term financial security, broad diversion, real estate appreciation, and you should be your own decision maker. Now let's go to the nexus between real estate, economic growth, and development. One, the first school, okay, my dear. Okay. Mainly, there are 3 schools of literature that addresses the relationship between real estate investment and economic growth. The first school focuses on the impact of real estate investment on economic growth. They suggest that real estate investment has a positive impact on economic growth. Then the second school concentrates on the impact of economic growth on real estate investment. They suggest that economic growth leads to an increase in real estate investment. Its tendency is decisive to development of the real estates. Then the third school combines the views of the former 2 schools. It argues that the real estate investment and economic growth mutually reinforce each other. Then the real estate market development. The goal of real estate market development is to expand into untapped markets. Then problems such as lack of finance, government policy, lack of infrastructure development, and high level of poverty. So also collaborative efforts by the public corporations, individual investors, and private individuals to help in alleviating this housing problem in Nigeria. Then lastly, the creation of an efficient land market where interest in land could be easily transacted is closely linked to a guaranteed access to land by all. We have 3 cities that have been looked into, but because of time, I will not be able to expatiate on all these 3. So now the real estate opportunity in Nigeria, how we can make the best use of it and we can tap into that we can get the best out of it. In land buildings, commercial buildings, investment opportunities in ultra-modern malls and event centers, office buildings, education centers. Let me quickly dabble into this, one of my list. When you look at Singapore or Dubai, for example, some of us are students of literature here. We learned that Dubai used to be a bush or industrial place in those days. But due to the economic growth, they try to tap in, they expand and they try to develop their community. Today, Dubai makes one of the best cities in the whole world, where everyone, even the ones from the UK, visit for holidays. And most of us here, and some people are just coming from that Dubai to this hall. Why? Because that place, the government creates an enabling environment where you can invest and at the same time you can enjoy the proceeds. There are a lot of problems there, but because of time, my time is up here. But let me quickly rush up with the conclusion. Real estate is one major sector of the Nigerian economy with a very bright future, capable of revitalizing the economy and ensuring adequate economic growth. Then we have recommendations there. The federal and state governments should ensure the provision of an investment-friendly environment with favorable investment policies. The review of mortgage policies and delivery system are essential to enhancing real estate investment opportunities. I beg of us, our colleagues that are working with the Federal Mortgage Bank, you guys have to help us, to help the society, for the real estate to trend and for us to get maximum proceeds for our investment. There should be provision for finance and real estate development and property market growth. Mortgage and financing schemes should be implemented. The central bank, if they have the resolution here, they have a lot of things to help us to do. The ones in the commercial banks, once the percentage or whatever, the interest rate or whatever is not too much, people will be able to get funds to invest in real estate and to make them to be able to get good proceed. So we beg our bankers here to please hear our voice and look at how they will make funds accessible in banks with little or minimal interest rates. Then will ensure ease of access and availability of land. This has to go to the government officials that give out land. We need, if it's easy for you to access land with government, people who want to invest in real estate. Like when you want to acquire property, people in Aegis, FCTA, Lagos, wherever, the process of getting land and the documents and all this stuff has been so cumbersome. So beg them to just look into all these things and let it be easy so that there will be more investment. Especially the foreigners, they want to come to Nigeria, but when they look at the process of acquiring all these things, it will be so difficult for them to come. And I believe you can key into, at least, permit me to say this, the new Lagos State branch chairman, you are close to government there, you have a lot of work to do for us. Let government policies reduce and whatever, so that we can bring in more investors. Then there should be favorable government policies, as I just said this, Land Use Act needs to be looked into, and so many other ones there. Then there should be availability of market data and information. That is where we come in as professionals. Is our data bank working? How many of us has given decision whatever they have before to help us? So finally, okay. Anyway, the time is up. Lastly, the one that concerns us all, as Nigerian Institute of Essence of Yours and Valuers, we should continue to organize seminars, conferences, and symposiums in development of the property market and significance. And for us as a body, we can come up, acquire this property, invest in it. Thank God, we want to appreciate our president, who just revived our nice venture. The venture can go into property investment or real estate investment, and they can still get money into the purse of the institution. Thank you all for listening. God bless you. Enjoy the rest of the conference period.
Thank you, ESV Bola Olawi, my able secretary of the Faculty of the Plant and Equipment Valuers before the current structure took over. Noble colleagues will stand on existing protocol. Like the theme of the conference says, unlocking real estate potential for economic development. We have had the lectures from about 3 of our colleagues. Now we want to go into the meat of the conference. Conferences like these are meant to add value to our practices. And the only way you can add value to practices if you ask repertoires and panelists that will bring out the meat from what we have heard. So that's why we have this distinguished group of panelists here this morning or afternoon or thereabout to be able to bring out the meat from the lectures or the papers that have been delivered. So we're going to be relying on your experiences over the years in your active practices that we all know to be able to ask the tough questions that will deliver the results and the benefits that we have gathered to get this afternoon. It's been the past 12 months of being in a lockdown. So we're all coming out of it. That is why we appear to be a little bit slow. So I want to crave our indulgence to allow us to get back into the mood and mode of where we were before the pandemic. So that is why the papers are a little bit slow and a little bit what have you. I'm trying to make apology for the kind of presentations we have received. But now we're going to go into the meat of the conference, like I said. We're expecting the panelists to ask tough questions. Questions will come also from the floor, and we'll be able to learn from one another and get value for this conference. The lead moderator for this event will be ESV Adejumoke Akure, supported by ESV Raji Adewale. So immediately I'm going to hand over to her, Adejumoke Akure. Please come and take over from here so that we get into the conference. Thank you, gentlemen.
Distinguished noble colleagues, Your Excellencies, whilst the last paper presenter was presenting, we have in our midst another dignitary, this time around our home. He's an estate surveyor and valuer and is currently an honorable member of Enugu State House of Assembly. I have the honor of bringing to the front estate surveyor and valuer Honorable Bismarck Chuka Ene. Is a member of Enugu State House of Assembly and Chairman House Committee on Environment. Please come to the front, sir. The ushers, distinguished noble colleagues, whilst the paper was actually going on, a past president of our great institution also came in person of the 22nd president of our institution, estate surveyor and valuer, Dr. Babarinde Joshua Patunolajayi. You are welcome to our midst, sir.
Thank you. Sorry, please.
Once again, I want to just observe all the due protocols that has gone earlier before I got on stage, and also to welcome all our guests and everyone listening. I'm sure some people are listening online. I want to believe some are listening online. And so I just want us to follow through as we start our session. As the lead, well, you know, he kept saying I'm the lead moderator because I think he just wanted to throw me under the bus. I'm not really the lead moderator. He is the lead moderator, but he has chanced me because his number is before mine in the association cadre. So I have to respect myself. I want to thank everyone seated here today on the panel. And I know that we did not give much opportunity for everyone to get to the meat of their papers. As Osato said, we're also just coming out of that, you know, the hibernation of the COVID period, pandemic, even our papers and our thought process, and even just trying to meander through how do we begin to, what's going to be the new narrative and the new reality of real estate, even as we bear in mind the fact that we want to start unlocking the potential post-COVID in everything that we're doing. Let me start with my guy, Mr. Judy Bose. You know, when the second vice president was presenting his paper, we kind of get an idea that he didn't really stretch it as much as he would have wanted to. But I do know that from some of the things he said, there must have been some things that came out of it that you would like to either address to him or address to the larger house that I would like to have your thoughts on.
Thank you. There are a lot of things he said in his paper, but again, we don't have too much time. And I'm going to just deal on one particular aspect of his paper, which is that of lack of title. One of the major, we're here talking unlocking real estate for economic development. One of the major problems we have as a nation is that those in government actually think that it's a favor they are doing you when they give you title to your property. They have not understood the significance of title documents. And that's why when the lead presenter mentioned about dead capital, it immediately struck a chord. Dead capital is a concept that started with Hernando Soto, the economist from Peru. And I have seen that PwC report. Yes, Nigeria has $900 billion. $900 billion in dead capital. Dead capital, as he described, is property that does not have any title. It's dead, you can't use it for anything, you can't take it to a bank to take facilities. Lagos State, and I think maybe to a large extent Abuja, are probably the only two territories in Nigeria that have really understood the concept of what real estate is and how much it impacts on economic development. And that's why today, Lagos State probably has 30 to 40% of its income from real estate. In fact, in Lagos, there's a terminology they use. They say real estate is their own oil. So while other states are talking about maybe raising revenue from other things, Lagos State focuses on real estate and they make a ton of money from it. Anybody who was reading the papers the other day would see that Lagos State has I think it's about 400 billion, about 40 billion a month in terms of IGR. And a substantial amount of that money, as much as 30%, comes from real estate. It's important that our governors and those in government understand the significance of title. Without title, land is useless to them and to those who live on it. To them, if the title is land, there's so much that can be done. Properties will be built, they will generate taxes, and not just that, a lot of investments will come in terms of joint ventures for development and so on. And we also need to understand in government the need to stop arbitrariness when it comes to using title documents. I think it was about 2 weeks ago, one of the governors in the north, I think it was Zamfara or Borno State, woke up one morning and canceled all the CFOs in his state. Remember that the few CFOs that would be there, Now, let me just even take that aside. Nigeria has a land mass of about 970,000 square kilometers. Less than 10% of our land mass is titled. So we're talking less than 1 million CFOs for the entire nation. That is what people take to the bank to take facilities, to start their businesses and run their operations. Now the governor wakes up one morning and decides that he has cancelled every CFO and everybody should go back and reapply for a CFO or refresh or, I can't remember, recertify their CFOs. But remember that many of these documents are already sitting in the vaults of banks who have given you facilities based on the strength of those documents. So as far as the banks are concerned, they are holding a worthless document. This is not anywhere near encouraging economic development. You know, I've just taken this is one of the major problems, one of the major challenges we have with government, title documents, and how real estate can be unlocked for economic development. Permit me to stop here so other speakers can.
Okay, so let me ask you to wrap it up, maybe in 30 seconds, but to say, now that you've identified, because if you look through all the lectures, there's always that issue of titling going round through, and it's a conversation that is unending. But with your experience in real estate over the years, I mean, you've been here for over 35 years, counting, respectfully, and you've been out these reports and you engage with people in MCI echelons, the UZUs. What would be the conversation that we should, normally they say that we are in charge of land economy. What should be the conversation that we should be having as a professional body to be able to, not exactly, we can't close it out in one day, but how are we going to push forward so that this conversation, we don't sit here again here next year and still bring up this same, issue as a problem?
Well, again, we just need to engage. The bottom line is we need to engage. We need to go back to government. We need to speak to them. We need to let them understand the seriousness of what title and how they handle the nuances of title documents aids to real estate and to economic development. I don't want to get political here, but the truth is that the bottom line really is that these guys don't understand.
So we need to engage.
We just need to engage.
Thank you, sir.
They don't understand.
It's very interesting. Remember, you know how the Lord does his things. You have, and yes, sir. We have a member of the House of the Assembly in Enugu State here. So, sir, when the professional body of Enugu State branch, being led by our president, they come knocking on the door. Maybe we should start using you since you are here and you're a member of the House. Maybe we should use it as a pilot case, and then we highlight it to the world that they see that engaging can bring fruits, not just for the profession, but most especially for the states. Sir, he has nodded. We will start from Enugu State. Thank you very much, sir. We will be calling for that meeting shortly. Second Vice President, you wanted to say something. Sir, 30 seconds.
Yeah, I just want to latch on what he said regarding the impact of that arbitrary cancellation on the economy. He's articulated it, but the way we can actually help is by not just saying it, oh, it's going to affect the economy, blah, 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 but to actually go deeper, undertake a research, get some data on the impact of that, perhaps speak to those in the banks, in the economy, and come up with reasoned, position on the impact of that and present it to government as a document. You see, the government is there, the government is us. They will listen, but they will not listen to just press releases and so on. To make a difference in policy, there must be a basis. And if you come with facts and figures, constructively documented, they will listen. Okay. And I think that is the way that we should go as an institution. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, sirs. They would listen. We need facts and figures. We also need a pilot case. Enugu State still watching. Thank you very much, Honorable Member, sir. That will be our case study, sir. Now, To the entire conference, to all attendees, we will be throwing, please get your questions ready. We will allow for, my lead moderator, sir, how many questions? 5. All right. But before I go to the hall, I need to ask, yes, Benga Smile. While we were having, the conversations, there was something the second vice president said about asset mispricing that is being done by the accountants. He said internationally, accountants and real estate people are the ones that are the champions of real estate. You said that in your lecture. No, you said champions of real estate. Internationally, they see them as accountants and real estate. Did I get that?
Champions of reforms in the real estate sector.
Accountants and estate.
And
particularly, but okay.
He actually said there are two global professions, accountants
and real estate survey. That's where I'm going. Yes, there were two. Now, and then he said something about mispricing of assets. You know, we constantly, and I'm speaking to you as head of practice of the Faculty of Valuation, and also someone who is very passionate about when you get this story, when you deal with bankers and all, and they say that you say one value, that person will say one value. There's kind of sometimes put question marks on our valuation reports. Now, if we say that we want to begin to create a new narrative as we take on this topic, how do you think, as practicing estate surveyors and valuers, dealing especially in the areas of valuation, we can start rearranging this asset mispricing that it seems to be something that is quite common, especially when you're talking to people when they deal with the valuation reports?
Thank you very much. Well, the starting point is data. Once we get the data source right.
Okay, sorry. Thank you, said data. As you're going to answer like 2 in 1. When you just mentioned data, I realized. So do data, it said fintech. I know it's more prop tech. So can you talk that solution of data, relating it with the prop tech and the advantage? So can you just give me a combo? But in 2 minutes, though.
Okay. Data is the starting point. So whether it's prop tech or fintech, if the data is wrong, fintech or prop tech will be wrong. So what technology is doing for everybody is that it's just making precision more accurate. Data must come from somewhere. Right now, we're struggling to find data, arranging it, structuring it from anywhere. You've had the issues of the land titling. That is also data. We don't even know how many properties we have in any jurisdiction. Start from that. We don't know what transactions go on. We end up with that. So how do we then predict? How do we know what we're talking about? We're just guessing. So if we can get data right and put technology next to it, then effectively there'll be more trust in the market that we're dealing with. And I think that's where our profession should start from.
Thank you very much. Data. You did it under 2 minutes. Me as a talk with you. What Yes Ismail was saying about data, and he said all over Nigeria, all our space, we don't have enough. That in itself just tells me that's like an area of specialization for some very committed and passionate ESV, and that becomes like what you see with some like Intel and Estate Intel and others do. So for someone who is a card carrier for specialization, bearing in mind that we want to unlock estate potential, how would you speak to the unlimited potential that lies in this topic with the issue of specialization before we throw the questions to the House?
Thank you. Look, there's nothing like major general in professional practice. In the military, you can be a major general. In practice, you major in the specific. One of the problems that we're having about our pricing and the way they perceive us in the market, we are approaching the market as a generalist. We distort the market. And that takes me to the paper raised by Professor about definitions. And I want us to look at this very well. Are you an exit surveyor and valuer? Are you an exit agent? Are you an auctioneer? Are you a mediator? Are you an arbitrator? These are aspects of our profession that requires special skills. Besides that, it throws opportunity in terms of remunerations. So one of the things I believe we should do as a takeoff is this. We must address the issue of specialization. Should all excess surveyors and valuers that receive license from Registration Board practice as a valuer? Capital no. Should all excess surveyors and valuers that receive their license from the Registration Board practice as an exit agent? Capital no. And that's why when we get to the market space, how do they perceive us? How do they pay us? We cannot be a general practitioner again. And that's why our practices are small. A man cannot marry a man. So if you are an estate agent, you are partnering with an estate agent, you will fight because you won't appreciate the guy. But if the guy is coming up, okay, you have a skill set in facility management, you have a skill set in valuation, you have a skill set in auctioneering. Now they're going to give you a robust practice. Data, I have an improvement on what Benga said about data. It's not that we don't have data. What is data? Data is process information. This is a profession that is over 50 years and is a derivative of what goes on in the economy. It's the way you capture the information and you process that information, and that's what we turn to data. Now, if you query that we don't have data, then we are querying that all the evaluation that we have done has a big question to answer. So, besides data, what is the methodology that we are adopting to do valuation? Let me stop there.
Thank you for stopping there. Before I go to the House, let my lead moderator ask this question.
Thank you, Adejumoke. ESV Tokwe, you're a little bit aggressive in your postulations about the profession. You've always been, you can't change from being who you are. We appreciate that and you're also a faculty chairman, and you have driven the faculty of auctioneering very well. You know, on the issue of data, I recall during the tenure of our past president, Emeka Ele, we gathered a lot of data. There were weeks and months where we were gathering data from all over the place, you know, and that was put together. The problem we keep having is that we don't build on it. A president does his 2 years and goes away. The next president comes, and there is no continuity. I recall that when we had the Benin retreat under the president of Pastor Patuola, we said that we should have a strategic agenda for the institution, a vision that is more than the life of the presidency or the present ESCO. Let's talk towards that. How do we do strategic planning in NIEVS? That question will be going to my senior colleague, Iri Okoli. We need to be strategic in our planning. So we have leaders of our institution that thinks beyond 2 years. We have a 10-year goal, and they key into it and run with it. Can we start talking like that in the profession? Can you speak towards that, please?
Yeah, I will still start from the point of data. Yeah, you mentioned less tenor. There was the data, some data gathered, used. It continued during Abonta's tenor. We were at property data, but bank. We handled Lagos. I was the chairman of Research and Development Committee. We finished Lagos. Then between 2019 and 2020, we treated ABUJA. First of all, we treated ABUJA, please. During Abota's first tenure. But second tenure, 2019 and 2020, we treated Lagos, Kaduna, Enugu, Port Harcourt. So I don't know. And we thought that we continue from there. I don't know what that one has been published. I haven't seen a copy of it.
Yeah, we've not seen it anywhere.
So I don't know. So the issue of data and continuity. See, once there is an end of tenure and there's a report handed over to incoming administration, go through and then if you have to follow up, there's definitely something for someone to follow up. We don't have a handover and memos are presented. So this issue is now, how far does the new admission follow up where the other one stopped?
Do you agree that we need long-term planning?
Yes, we do.
As an institution?
We do.
So that we can have continuity.
The question is, how do we make sure that the new admission picks it up?
All right.
Because when the president new admission comes, they have their own set agenda. They tend to ignore the previous ones.
I think Benga Ishmael wants to say something along those lines.
Yes, I think the word we are looking for is to institutionalize data collection and gathering. Yeah. It is not that we're looking for long term. We need to institutionalize this act. We cannot miss the opportunity as estate surveyors and valuers to seize the industry through data.
Thank you. The first vice, because the president wants to say something. Can the mic go to the president, please? The mic is coming to you, sir.
Thank you. Let me assure the Chief Irokoli that this present administration is actually working on that data. What we have done is that at the expiration of the last council, we had another research and development committee. So what we did was to hand over those documents to research and development committee to actually analyze, because time has also gone. And you know, data is timing. There are things that happened in 2020 and 2019. They are no longer realistic now. So we want to do that analysis before we now bring it to the floor. But let me assure the institution that there is no lacuna between the last council and this present council. We are continuing with what we met, and we are ensuring that we are always improving on what we have seen. And let me also say that we have a plan during the AGM, we are going to present a CCA plan for the AGM to approve for the institution. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President.
Thank you very much, Lead Moderator. Okay, I already see hands coming up. So to the other members of the panel, there will be questions, and they'll be directed at members of this honorable panel. And okay, I have 2 hands already. I've got 3. But before we start the question, please do not overtask your hands. Can you put them down for just 1 minute? The HNPS has something to say.
Distinguished noble colleagues, Your Excellencies, whilst the panelists were discussing, an eminent personality walked in, and the person is no other one than a former Attorney General of the Federation, an Honorable Minister for Justice, a person of Chief Akinolujimi, SANCON. You are welcome to our midst, sir. Distinguished noble colleagues, at the right time, he will be invited to the podium. He's here to give us a talk on sustainable partnership in real estate practice. Please, let's patiently wait till that time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. So, yes, the hands are up again. We did want to take just 5 questions. The lights. Okay. I did say we had 5 slots for questions, but you see one of that slot has been taken by one of our PPNIVS, so I only have 4, and it seems to be skewing to this side, and there's one over there. So, oh my, lead moderator, sir, with the due permission of the president, can we just do 6? Okay, let me start with the first person who had the, yes, sir. Okay. Oh, sir, please hold on, sir. Sir, are you ready, sir? Okay, please go ahead. That's one of our past president. Yes, we Patonla. Yes, sir, please go ahead with your question, sir.
Yes. All protocols observed. Noble colleagues, it has been a very interesting presentation, especially the lead paper. The lead paper, if you have seen what that paper has laid down is like a formula that we should just follow and be able to reach a particular goal. And that goal is to take our place in real estate development. Now, one thing that is very close to the comments being made on by Tope Ojo and Osawaye is that we need to be interested in our area of practice. If you are interested in valuation, be interested in going deep in anything pertaining to valuation. If you are interested in estate agency, then go deep and be able to do it better than just the street estate agent. That is why we are called specialists. So I'm impressed by one firm. Don't let me just start to mention. They wanted to go to development because this is what we are really talking here. Your firm or your group of firms want to go to development. They now called on one of us who is an expert in project development and management, a past chairman of project development and project management faculty of this institution, to come and train their staff. One of the staff, two of them came, we met, and they said, oh, look, if we had gone into property development without calling that man, we would have missed it. So many of us missed it. We are doing it on a very small scale, and that cannot affect what is going on in a large scale. Now, another thing I want to comment about is this issue of land. Land. I was a member of the Federal Task Force on Land Reform, and we did a lot. We thought it was a serious project which the government wanted to give attention. By the time we are saying this is how to implement it, the government slowed down. So generally, land availability or land titling in general is a political issue. That's the way I view it. People in government don't want total titling. They will still want a reserve of a place where at their own time they can go. That's my view. Not that probably I see it anywhere, but that's my view. There is a project done in Ogun State. Ogun State decided to lower cost of CFO for any housing, any house unit to 100,000 about 4 years ago or so. That thing gave thousands of the indigent access to titling and access to loan. Can't other government copy it? If you want to the cheapest house in Lagos, go to government estate. Why? Because government estate in Lagos, I don't know, the officials are here, the land people, most of them, the pricing is not inclusive of land. That's why you could have cheap prices. So why can't the government lower the cost of getting CFO so that people can also get it cheaper? But I want to say that if there is anything which our institution can do to see that land is gotten cheaper or land is almost made free, then we can move forward to achieve our position which we are desiring here this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, for the hands raised, we do have a challenge with time. So I have been mandated by the powers that be, which includes myself, that you should please write your questions on a piece of paper and please send it forward. Please, can you kindly, through the ushers that are standing right beside you, can you kindly do that? Now, while you are writing that, a former chairman of Lagos branch, while you're talking, meanwhile, it's 1 minute, so while you're talking, please, I want others to please quickly write your questions on a piece of paper and give to the ushers and let them bring it forward while you're speaking to buy us time. But please, write it, sir. Please, can you write your question on a piece of paper, sir? Everyone who wants to ask a question,
Mine is
please.
a comment.
Comment, fantastic. Please, while the comment is going on, can we have those papers coming forward?
Can I proceed?
Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. I want to...
yes, sir. 1 minute question.
Existing protocol. 60 seconds. I think I want to proffer a solution to the question that has been raised. And the question is, how do we have consistency in data production? And I want to suggest to this great institution that if you leave that responsibility to the surveyors who are contending with daily bread, it will be impossible. Because anybody who comes into office after 2 years or who intends to come, when he finishes, he will go back to his practice. Therefore, I think, like the Council of Legal Education has done, it is those babas that are custodians of the legal profession, who are the custodians of the estate surveying and valuation profession. I am suggesting in this August gathering that the institution should get some of our senior members who are intellectuals, but who are not very busy in the day-to-day running of their firms, and put them together. If we have a place that we keep them, fund them, and feed them, they would be giving this information and be gathering this information for the institution. But if you leave it to the younger surveyors who are contending with their daily bread, we may continually be having these things year in, year out in our conferences. That would be my thoughts. Good morning, distinguished noble colleagues.
Thank you very much. Please, can I have those questions written down on paper? Okay. If I don't, sir, please, I would like your questions written on paper. We do really want to buy time. I have a question here, a comment. I believe it's time for Valuer General's Office of the Federation to aid in economic development. That's a comment, so I think we take that under advisement, and the members of the management committee and council have that as part of the things on their burners that are burning continually. I do want to believe I'm corrected, but I'm correct with that statement. First Vice President, sir, I'm correct with that statement.
Can the gentleman standing write your question and give to the usher beside you, please?
Mine is a comment.
Can you please write it down and give to the usher? Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Please, can we bring it up? We do have the privilege of listening to one of our most prestigious legal minds, and it will be a great honor here. And we'll do that before tea break. Okay, sir, you have something to say?
Yeah.
Okay, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, excuse me, please. I just want to throw more light about this data something. Real estate is business.
40 seconds.
If you allow naive alone to be the custodians of constructing data for us, it's not workable. The firm of Bosiele and Co., they do submit reports year in, year out on what is going on in the real estate business. Northcote is doing that also. What stops firms that could see opportunities in that area and jump into it? Zoom capitalized on COVID. The profit of Zoom this year is in excess, is it over 90-something percent or 190-something percent? We want to unlock opportunities in this industry. And how sustainable, even if it's sustainable for the institution to do that, why can't we get firms to come up and specialize in that area? These are business opportunities. Real estate is a business. And let's look at it from that option, please. Thanks.
Thank you, Tokwe. I'm going to give the example of Alder Consulting. They went into data gathering, and they are like the go-to for most banks. When they started it like 20 years ago, nobody knew Lake Alder. So you're right, it's business that Castle started
as a vendor.
Now is the go-to. Castle is a veritable source of data for estate surveyors and valuers. Just we're not leveraging on it. So the business angle is key. Thank you.
There seems to be a joke that we are not part of on this part. Oh, okay. Moving forward, we do have someone online who's raising their hands. I would also say, if they can please, if you can hear me, please, those who are interested in taking part online, if you can please put your question on the comment section, and so that we can have it and it can be read here. It will be difficult because of the challenges with connectivity to be sometimes even hear you clearly, to be able to express what you're trying to say. Thank you. There's a question here that says Nigeria will less than 10% of its land title. This problem brought the issue of dead capital. What is the role of NIESV in sensitizing the policymakers in land titling, especially in rural states? I believe that part of the question that we put to ESV Bose was talking about that, and is one word in three was engagement, engagement, engagement. And I think there's nothing else we can do. That's the way forward if we want to be relevant in this profession that has been beautifully given to us. There's a comment here that says, I wanted to suggest to all ESV present here that we cannot leave everything to naive leadership to be engaging government. Individual ESV in private sector to engage those in public sector, since ESV in the public sector is the land administrator and land policy maker. It's a beautiful idea, and like you rightly said, engagement cannot just be left to the leadership. We are all in this together. And as much as possible, if there are great ideas of we wanting to engage together, those ideas can be shared and it can be built up, made more robust, and then we engage with it.
Let's take ESV Saji is on the line virtually.
Okay, will you be able to speak?
Yeah, he'll be able to speak.
Okay, I hear that ESV Saji's connection is superb. So ESV Saji, if you can hear me, can you go ahead with your question, sir? Okay, I see that. That's a challenge. IT, can you cut that for a minute? Please, if we can get him clearly, or can we get the comments in the comment section and it can be read here? It'll be very difficult. Yes, your Saji, can you hear me, sir? Okay, sir, you're on mute if you can hear me. Oga, you have to hear me. Oh. They need to know that we are technologically driven in this conference. Oh. Oga, you must hear me. It's by power, by force. Sir, unmute yourself, please.
I can hear him talk.
Okay. Please let it be known that it is volume that is responsible for us not being able to hear what we're saying. But we are techie, as you can see. We can see him, and I'm hoping he's seen us. But volume is the issue, not that. Thank you very much. There's no effective land registry in Abuja. How do we help them? There is no effective land registry in Abuja. How do we help them?
I've not heard from the lady in the house.
Hold on. Before I go to you know, some people are making. Hello, sir. Second Vice President, sir. Your practice here and here, they say there's no effective land registry in Abuja. In 1 minute, how do we help them?
That's not true now. We have ages. We have ages. Who is that? Who is that?
No, it's a comment. It's a comment.
Ages is the best.
Okay. We stand corrected. There is ages. So please, let's stand corrected on that matter. Question. Finance is crucial to estate development. What is the leadership of NIESV doing to collaborate with the government to eliminate this challenge? Again, we have to continue to engage. If we have ideas, what I'm saying is, this is a question. You know, sometimes we need to come up with ideas. There's no idea that is bad in itself. There's no suggestion that is bad in itself. It can be worked around. So let us continue as members of this great institution, as we birth come to Yeswi's Benga Ismail. I want to ask Yezolawi, you know, during the presentation, I wanted to get your opinion, since you tried to do about 3-city study. We looked at Lagos, Dubai, and I think there was a Singapore. My question would be that even though we listed those ideals of how do we boost estate management and real estate investment, but from your experience, because I'm sure you've dealt in one of those, two of those in those climes, apart from just the generic academic, what do you think personally, dealing with one-on-one with some of those external people, would be other ways that are not that academic that you can boost real estate investment, not just here, but from you trying to get even clientele in here? How do you boost people even getting clientele into this space? What would be your opinion?
Thank you very much. Yes, we are correct. I think my own little opinion to this, just as many of my senior colleagues have said, this process has to be continuous. You need to get out of your comfort zone, go globally, go international, meet people in different sphere in the real estate industries, gather knowledge and interpret all those knowledge you've acquired. Then in the course of taking adventures in the line of the business, those people you get to meet, in the course of a discussion, what you can be able to tap from them, you make use of it. And you know what you have inside your country as a Nigerian. I want people to come and tap into it. But for what you have and what you know this person you've met can bring it to the country that will benefit you. The next is for you to come back home and make use of that thing. Talk about it. If these people to be trained to acquire that knowledge, to be able to make people to fall into it, bringing people in to invest in the real estate. I think what we need is just for us to keep acquiring knowledge, meeting people, and putting it to practice. Like we're talking about data, talking about every other things. No, I just said it that in Dubai, I learned, even as a child, that it was, what do you call it, this desert. But today the desert has turned into something else. Nigeria too can be like that. If you have the right policy from the government that will enable you to bring in what you've seen or what you know that will benefit us, then the issue of this insecurity needs to be taken care of by the government. Because when you have all these things and it looks juicy to an investor, but the environment is not so conducive, norm-friendly, they will run away. Imagine some of our colleagues on the field about a week ago, for compensation, 3 or 4 Chinese men were kidnapped. Would you want people there hear such thing and want to bring them? They will not come. So if we have all the right data, the information, we know what to do. People who thought we could bring in to invest, to expand our costs, but they get to know that the insecurity is a challenge, is a threat, they won't come. So definitely we need to work on all those things. That's why I kept in my paper mentioning our persons that are well placed, the ones with governments, the ones that are, let them come out and let's let our voice known to the Nigerian government or wherever, that we have these things and we are ready to partner with them to make this work out for them. And I'll still say kudos to this present council member. We are really seeing that they are trying to get closer to the government. We are not getting relevant.
Thank you. Please,
thank you.
I wanted to stop you before they accuse me of partiality to gender. So as a way of rounding up, I want ASV Benga Ismail to bear his mind on an issue.
Thank you very much. I wanted to go back to the main topic, which is unlocking real estate for economic development.
Yes.
And I wanted to focus on the case studies that ASV Bola Alawi had brought to us. Dubai, Singapore, and Hong Kong. These are countries that use their real estate to leapfrog to the top of world economy. But I want to give another example. After the World War II, Germany was broke. JP Morgan was holding on to the economy, and they only made one suggestion. We have land. Can you translate this land to what we owe, and how do we use it? We have to understand how to use our land resources to bring ourselves to the front of economic discussions. And we are the people that can discuss that, but we don't understand the language yet, and we must do the right things. And I think what we take away from here is how to speak the language of using land resources and transforming our nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. How to use the language to transform our economy so that we can achieve this great topic or ideal that we've set before us as an institution. Having said that, I want to appreciate every member of this panel, and I want to appreciate everyone who listened. Can I also ask that let the conversation continue even after we're done with the talk that my honorable senior advocate would be sharing with us? I may be all because someone I know of him, so I may be in awe, so I can't put my words together because it's here. I also want to suggest that during the tea break, we can network. We can ask some of the questions that we will not be able to, every member of the panel, amongst ourselves. Let's not just banter. Let's have quality conversations amongst ourselves while we are here. And for those who were listening online, thank you very much. For those we couldn't get to take their questions, we appreciate you all. Thank you for your time. And to the panel again, thank you. Your excuse. Thank you very much.
Let's give them a round of applause.
Please, let's appreciate them all. Thank you.
Can we do better than that for them, please? Honestly, it has been a fantastic discussion all the while. And our take-home from that panel is the fact that there has been paradigm shift from real estate practice to real estate business. And at the same time, whilst we're going into real estate business, we are opportune to have in our midst somebody who is going to give us talk on sustainable partnership in real estate practice. Distinguished noble colleagues, Your Excellencies, I have the honor and privilege to bring to the podium a senior advocate of Nigeria, a national honor holder, Chief Aki Olujimi, is a partner in Olujimi and Akeredolu Chambers, and a former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister for Justice. Distinguished noble colleagues, sir, Honorable Minister, you are welcome to the podium, sir. Thank you very much. Can we put our hands together for the Honorable Minister, please? Once a minister is always a minister. You're welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Permit me to stand on the existing protocol, which I didn't even listen to, because I didn't come in when the protocol was being read out. Now let me begin by thanking you for this invitation to be here today to talk to you about sustaining partnership and professional practice. Let me ask this simple question. What is my qualification to talk to us on this topic? It's very simple. I have been in partnership for almost 40 years now, and that's in the practice of law. My partner, many of you will know him. Many who don't know him may have heard, you see, about him, is Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, SAN. That's Arakuni, the governor, the current governor of Ondo State. our partnership didn't just come as a mischance. It was something that we planned from the very beginning. We were together students at OAU, and at that time, he was 1 year my senior. We just got talking about, okay, when we finish here, can't we really form a partnership? But of course, you cannot, as soon as you leave the university, go into partnership. You have to go into pupillage. We now said, okay, fine. After pupillage, we can come together. Let's see whether we can do it. And so when we finished in the school, he went his own way into one chamber. I went into another one. And 3 years there, 6 years there, we now said, okay, we can come together now. Now, what you will observe from what I have said so far is that it's not just a decision you take without properly reflecting on whether you can come together and work with this gentleman. So, the issue now is, what is a partnership? You have been hearing of it. Two people working together. It's not just enough. You must have as a major reason for coming together, the desire to share profit. If you are not going to share profit, it is not a partnership. So profit must be at the base of it. Now, when you have come together, how do you sustain this partnership? Now, the interest of every individual varies. I may be a workaholic. You may be a man who believes in, look, let's do 1 hour and go home, come back another 2 hours thereafter. Now, the question is, can the two of you work together? If I will be there working 8 hours, 10 hours every day, and you are there working 1 or 2 hours and going away, you probably have an interest in football. You probably have some clubs that you think you must be there every day, maybe to drink or do other things. Now, can you really work together when you find that your interest differs considerably from mine? You can, and that's why it must be a conscious decision for you to go into it. Realizing that, look, my partner is a different person altogether from me. And in my own particular partnership, that's exactly what happens. My partner is a football enthusiast. Any day that Man U is playing, even when he's physically in Abuja here, he's right on the field there, and be talking to each of the players. So what are you doing? Look at you. You have put it in. Right there in his office there. But because I'm not a football enthusiast, I'm not even part of it. I'm there in the office working. It does not in any way affect my disposition to the partnership business. And of course, it does not mean that he spends all his time watching football. The time he probably has to sleep at home is the time he will now spend to do his own part of the partnership business. So what you find is, when the two of you go into it, realizing and knowing your different dispositions, you must be committed to the partnership. If you are not, it cannot work. The reason you have come together is for you to be able, one, the cost of setting up a partnership may be very high, but when you come together, you share cost. So it's easier for you to start up this business, unlike when you alone will have to raise the entire capital you require for that partnership or for the business. So When you realize this advantage, that look, we can easily set up this business, get everything we require, equipment, books, office, and all that, then you know it makes sense to go into partnership. But keeping it is always an issue. We have colleagues in the law who have attempted to also start a partnership, but they ended up 2 years, 3 years into it, the thing has broken down. Many have approached me in the law to say, okay, how are you sustaining your own? When I talk to them, they say, this is a serious one. No. You mean your partner can be watching football and you are busy doing the work? I say, does it really matter? As far as I'm concerned, once you have decided, to enter into it, you must have that commitment. If you have the commitment, the business would grow. Now, the partnership helps you to bring into it, your competencies. I had one of the speakers earlier on who said, look, if you want to be in estate survey, if you want to be in valuation, go deep into it. If you want to be an estate agent, go deep into it. And if it's a project development, go deep into it. Now, when you form a partnership, it helps you to bring together competencies in various areas. So you now bring them together into your partnership, and it makes you strong. In developed countries today, partnership is the in thing. Whether in the law profession, in estate surveying, and other medical line as well, partnership is the in thing. In actual fact, in the law profession, you find the partnership spread across 20 countries or more, and the headquarters may just be in London there, and then China, US, Canada, Africa, they all come together. So it helps you to grow the business, it helps you to grow income, it helps you to grow, your competence. These are the advantages. There are also disadvantages. For instance, if a member of the partnership incurs a debt, not personal, not private debt, in the course of the partnership business, you all have to share it. It's your burden together. If the partnership sustains a loss apart from the private debt of a member of the partnership, that loss you share together. If a member of the partnership becomes a bankrupt or he dies, it may affect the business of the partnership. Those are disadvantages. But let's put all that aside and now say, okay, we have been able to put the partnership together. It is working. How do you keep it working forever? And that's sustaining it. I have touched on 1 or 2 points, but you have a little more. I have mentioned the decision to form that partnership, which must be conscious, not perfunctory. Then the commitment to keep it going. That commitment is very, very key to sustaining that partnership. I have mentioned my own partnership. For the about 40 years that I've been in it, my partner and I have not for once quarreled or anything. I mean, it may sound strange to you that how can you be together? In actual fact, one writer said that if you have 2 people working together, and they don't quarrel, that one person is not really relevant to that relationship. Because he expects that by human nature, we must quarrel. But in my own case, for about 40 years, we have not quarreled once on anything, not money or how the business of the partnership is going. That shows, one, that this commitment is there, the urge, the wish, the desire to make it succeed. So if you have that commitment, there's no way it will not succeed. Then loyalty and trust. Loyalty to the farm business, to keep it going, to make it succeed. You must trust your partner. Some clients will come into our chambers. Maybe I'm the one handling their matter. They call me, they say, oh, lawyer, we have some payments to make. Maybe they bring cash, and I collect it. My partner is not in the office. Of course, when he comes in, I let him know that so-so client came in and made a payment on his case. This is what he brought. And if it had been paid into the bank, I would simply say, oh, it's been paid to the bank by the cashier. So that is trust. Trust your partner. Trust your partner. If that trust is there, then the business will go on. You do not begin to suspect that maybe my partner is playing some pranks or tricks on me. Trust him. That is very, very fundamental. There must be mutual respect. I have said it earlier. If you are doing business together, there must be mutual respect. There may be age differentials between or among the partners. That should not mean that you should not respect your colleague appropriately. You must be able to. If you do not want to, you are not working for the progress of the partnership. So there must be mutual respect. We share this in my own partnership, and it's so easy for us to do it, notwithstanding the age gap in between us. I'm older, he's younger, but that has never, in any case, affected the mutual respect we share together. Then keeping the partnership confidences is also very important. You cannot go about discussing the confidences of your partnership. People out there may, out of envy, be asking you questions. It's not because they believe or they love you, no. They want a way they can walk into you and create some disagreement between the two partners, or even more partners. So you must be able to keep the confidences of the partnership. And, you know, as I always say, I respect our women. I have nothing against them. They are good. In actual fact, somebody, I think I read it somewhere, just underscoring the value of a woman, he said, when God created the woman, he removed boredom from the life of man. That's to show how good and important they are to our life. But please don't bring them into your partnership business. Don't go home and discuss with your wife, oh, this is what my partner, Akerujimi, is doing. No. Whatever is happening within the partnership, keep it there if you want it to survive. But the moment you go about discussing partnership secrets, partnership confidences with family members and your friends, then you are really not working, for that partnership to grow and succeed. So you have to keep that in mind. So every partner has a duty not to compete while that partnership is still running. When it's extant, you do not compete with it. You must be focused on the partnership business, and there must be nothing like competition. If it happens at any time that you had some business which you did, which of course is not to be done, in other words, it must not happen. But if it happens that somehow you did some business in competition with your partnership, you must render accounts of any profits you made in that transaction to the partnership. That is the only way it can, this partnership, can be sustained. So when you look at all these points I have made, you would find that it takes a real man to go into partnership. In the course of the partnership, you may be invited by your people to take a political office. My partner now, the governor of Ondo State, he had to leave the partnership for me, and then he went to answer the call of his people. But interestingly, you see the way it has happened in our own partnership. He was the very first one to be called into public office. That was during military regime. They just invited him to come and be Commissioner for Justice in Ondo State. Of course, he went. I kept the partnership running. I didn't say because how can he leave the business and then go into a public office? That means he's not interested. Then we should bring the partnership to an end. No, I kept running the partnership. Somehow, when he finished service there as Commissioner for Justice, I also got a call to become the Attorney General of the Federation. He didn't look for it when he became commissioner. I did not look for it when they called me to be Attorney General of the Federation. I went. He kept running the partnership without any demo. He kept it going. So it was easy for me when I finished as Attorney General to settle back into it. You can imagine what would have happened if I had to close down my practice when I went to answer that call. So that's one good advantage of partnership. It keeps the business running even when one member is not physically present. Now he's governor of Ondo State. I have kept the partnership running and running very well. So that is one advantage of it again. But as I said, and I will say it again, it takes two, of the same mind to make it work. If you believe in it, we have to go into partnership, then you must be prepared to render all the sacrifice it takes to make it work. We are not even thinking of bringing it to an end now because it's working well. In fact, what we are thinking of is how to make it work better because it's been functioning very well and God has blessed both partners to it. Now, partnership membership for as long as you are not more than 20, you don't need to register. Based on simple oral agreement or written one between the two of you, or 4 of you, or 10 or 15. But the moment you have reached 20 and you want to become 21, you are now required to register that partnership. If you are using a name that does not consist of the surnames of the partners with their forenames or without their forenames, in our own case, for instance, I'm Olujimi, he is Akeredolu. These are our surnames we used together. We didn't have to register for the almost 40 years I'm practicing. But if I now have to say Olujimi and co, or Olujimi Akeredolu and co, that and co has made it obligatory for us to go and register with a comma, because the business name requirement is that when you are practicing or doing business with a name, not your natural surname or forenames, you must register. So that's the only occasion when you are required to register. And of course, at the end of the day, you may decide to say, okay, we have to bring this partnership to an end. It may be a clause in your written agreement that after some time, 40 years, 20 years, 30 years, or even 10, we want to bring this partnership to an end. If that is it, at the end of it, you just go through formal dissolution. But in the course of practice, if conflicts developed between the partners and they can no longer work for the progress of the partnership, they also can get it dissolved by the court. Because of time, have not really touched on a few points which I have touched upon in my written address. I will drop a copy of it with the president, and I'm sure I can make copies available to all of you. You will read a lot more about partnership, but I've concentrated more here now on how to sustain it. I do hope I've been able to excite some interest in partnership, because we all need it to make us more efficient in service to the public. I say good afternoon to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Distinguished noble colleagues, Your Excellencies, we can actually still put our hands together for the Honorable Minister. With the permission of Mr. President, with the permission of Mr. President, I think we can be seated. Thank you so much. Some of us had the opportunity of having the first version of that lecture in Ibadan. And thank God we are still here to have it. Thank you so much, sir. God will continue to strengthen you. Distinguished noble colleagues, Your Excellencies, I don't know if Mr. President will want to accommodate a comment or anything. In the absence of none, I have the honor of bringing Mr. President to the podium to present award to the speakers and certificates. Please put our hands together for the 24th president of our great institution, the working president. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Chief, thank you very much for coming. You know, when you promise you are going to drop a hard copy. I didn't waste time to go and collect it before your PA will tell me that they forgot it in the office. So I'm sorry to rush to collect it because I know that my members will want it. Do you want it? If you want it, thank you to Chief. So those of you that want to do one-man business, change your mind from now, especially the young ones. For our seniors, it's time for you to open the windows for the young ones to join you. If they can stay for 40 years, you still have more 60 years, 70 years to stay, because I know that some of you will live more than 100. Okay. Noble colleagues, let me invite the second vice president that presented the lead paper to us, SS of Yambalwa, Victor Adekunle Alonge. Please, a round of applause for him. On behalf of the council and the entire membership of the Nigerian Nation of Estates of Yours and Valuers, I present this award to you as the lead speaker at the 51st Annual Conference, ABUJA 2020-2021. Congratulations, sir. May I invite SS of Yan Amvalua Dr. Chukwemeka R. Irio Okoli. Please, Chief. Let's be calling the name so that we'll be fast. On behalf of the institution, sir, I want to thank you for that research paper that you presented to us, and we are very grateful. Remember, in our institution, the reward for a job well done is more work. We might invite you next year or even after to do the same thing. On our behalf, please take this as a token of appreciation for that job. Let me invite Bola Olawi to also come for her presentation. The only lady among men in this presentation. And I'm happy that no matter how the men are, her size is intimidating. On behalf of the institution, congratulations. Thank you. You can see that my hand couldn't go round. No, this is for the panelists.
We have certificates.
Yes.
Nice, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. May I invite SS of Yamvalua Chudi Obosi, please. As he's coming, let Benga Ismail join. As he's coming, SS of your Tope Ojo should also come. This one, very soon, will have to sit well. We are talking with anger. You have to calm down. This is nice. When are you working with Topo Ejo at the same time? Let him not. Okay. If you have not finished, don't fight here. Okay, let me give Topo Ejo first so that he can go. But please, next time, don't be talking with anger. Your passion for the growth of the profession, we know, but we need to learn so that we'll get to where you are too. On behalf of the institution, we present this certificate of service for what you have done for us today as a panelist. Benga. Okay. Benga, Ismail. Then for the moderators, we have SS Obiam Balua Osatu Osawai. I'm happy that you were able to control Topo Ojo. You wanted to intimidate us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So now you say the way they deal with me now.
Let me watch this article so that it will show.
Yeah, President. You see my president now.
You see, because of your passion, the photographer didn't take your picture. Even the cameras were not happy. Let me invite Adejimoke Akure. Smallish but powerful. Congratulations. Am I correct? If you hear her voice, you'll be looking for her, you won't see her. What? The same size. No, as the president and taller.
Yes, yes.
Let me have Raji Adewale. Okay, the only Yoruba man that survived in Igbo land.
Thank you, sir.
On our behalf, we present this to you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Am I done?
Thank you.
Okay, what is the next thing?
Yes, sir.
Tea break.
Yes, tea break. Okay. I just want to recognize Dari Bello.
No, don't worry. Let me.
Okay,
I want to invite the chairman of the registration board. Please, I want you to come and say a very big thank you to our chief for the paper he presented to us. Because one, you have practiced for almost the same year. Two, you are not as tall, but you are bigger. Number three, you have much money just like him. We are just growing up, so I don't have the power, too much power to give him thanks, but I want to call you to thank him on our behalf.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, sir, I stand on existing protocols. I'm quite excited to say thank you to Chief Olujimi. Chief Olujimi, you know, you have a long history with this profession. I hope you remember that when this profession pioneered the establishment of the Urban Development Bank with the president as our patron, you were one of us. If I'm right, sir, all the professional bodies in this country had come together to start a bank. And he was the Attorney General, and he was there with us. For me to see him here today, I am equally very, very excited. Please, sir, thank you. But before I say the thank you, can you tell us, somebody asked me, can your husband, who is an estate surveyor, or your wife, who is an estate surveyor, be your partner? Well, that was, I said if I have a much, I told them that when I cross over to you, I will ask you. Since you said our wives and our spouses should not encroach. So, sir, that was a question. I don't know whether you will oblige us. Please give a... No mic for... Sorry, sir, the mic is coming. Thank you, sir.
Now, the question is very interesting. But one point I want us to know is that even today, we have in the law profession the wife and the husband practicing together. That is not the kind of partnership that we are talking about when we say 2 or 3 or 4 come together with the aim of making profit, you see, to join their practice. That is the difference, because when the two of you are practicing together, you'll be discussing the business of the partnership. But where, for instance, my wife is not a lawyer, she worked until retirement in the public service, a civil servant. What will be her business? Knowing what my partner and I, you see, we are going through in the legal field, in respect of which she has no learning at all. So if there is an issue, which ordinarily the partners can resolve between themselves, if you take it home to your wife to say, oh, this is what I can do, is that right? Hey. Then she go to the market, say several things, and if you are the type of man who listen more or believe more in what she says than what should make the partnership work, then you find as you go in there. I said for over about 40 years, we have not quarreled once. It will not happen. If you have a woman, you go home to tell stories about what happens in the office. For instance, if I say, you know that I am the only one who is committed to the farm business. When they are playing football, is there watching football. Or she just comes in and finds that, oh, I am busy in my own office. Then is there looking at man, you, oh, put it in now. He will say, so this is what you are doing here. You are the only one making this business to succeed. So that's the kind of issue which I referred to. But when husband and wife are working together, it's not the kind of partnership that I have in mind. I hope this clears.
Thank you very much, my SAN. On this note, sir, you have resolved all issues in our favor. You have resolved it in our favor. Mr. President, we didn't expect less from you. You have now put the seal that anybody who leaves this 51st annual conference without registering or starting consciously, that was the watchword I captured, consciously to start a partnership. It's not your fault again. You have laid the foundation. So, my SAN, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. We will still come back to you. On behalf of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers and our board, we have learned today, and you will be proud to hear that today's lecture has impacted positively on our membership. Thank you, sir, for coming. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman of the Board. We can do better for our Chairman of the Board, please. Distinguished noble colleagues, Your Excellencies, with the permission of Mr. President, we'll be going for our tea break now. Please, let us remain seated whilst Mr. President will lead the management committee members and the council together with our dignitaries to take their tea break right here. However, all of us should remain seated. Our snacks will actually be served on us, and thereafter, if you care for tea or coffee, then you will go out of this hall through the entrance. Beside the exhibition arena, there is a passage that will take you into the hall where the tea will be served. Thank you very much. We want to sincerely appreciate our patience. We are not done yet. Immediately after the big tea break, we are resuming for the second session. Thank you very much, and God bless.